All right, welcome back to the post-game spread. I'm your host, as always, Blake Helm. This episode is really special to me, very special. I think the world of this guy. I think he's so talented. I had Cale Hennemann on. We just had a conversation a few days ago. I had to get the audio sent off to get a few things fixed on it, but it's back, it's ready. An absolutely illuminating conversation on hitting. This guy is I am a Jedi learning from him. This guy is Yoda when it comes to hitting. This is incredible. I think we had to have him on after the Ben Hartle episode where Ben raved about Cale as a hitting coach, and he goes out there and works with him, and Cale's now at Pawnee now, but he had a really cool career too. Played ball at Pawnee here locally, and then went to Eastern Illinois. Played for the Springfield Sliders in the summer, and then ended up transferring to the University of Memphis, playing for the Tigers. Had a couple nice years out there. Played in the Northwoods, and then ended up with some coaching. Did a little bit of D1 coaching in Belmont, and then kind of got disillusioned with that, and went away from baseball for a little bit, and has found his way back locally. So now he's back coaching at Pawnee, and just is next level with his hitting stuff. And I just think so highly of this guy. We first met maybe about 10 years ago, and I trained him when he was still at Eastern, and just probably the best work ethic I ever saw on anyone. Just an absolute grinder, an absolute an undying will to better himself. I think the world of him. I respect him. I still learn from him. So I get a hold of him and ask him hitting questions. So this guy is absolutely incredible. A fun conversation about his own career, what went right, what went wrong, what he would do different. And then, like I said, an incredible conversation about hitting. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I think it's really special. I think Cade is really special. Or Cale, excuse me. Cade is his brother. We're going to have him on at some point. So anyway, post-game spread. Hope you guys enjoy. And now a few words from our sponsors. Thank you. We are also brought to you by BOS, Bank of Springfield, and Jason Knadler. The Bank of Springfield has essentially a whole baseball team over there. I'm talking guys like Jason Knadler, Justin Knadler, Timmy Ballin Wallen, Eric Weaver, Ryan Murphy, Murph Mathiot, Frank Stefano, Greg Morantz. I trust every single one of these guys to handle my money and to steer me in the right direction financially. There are 3 locations across the greater Springfield area for your convenience. Bank boldly with BOS. We really appreciate you guys. We are also brought to you by Body Cemetery, located at 2201 West White Oaks Drive, bodycemetery.com. More specifically, Chad Marshik, the owner, head trainer. This guy is just amazing on so many levels. He is capable of training anyone from a child to a pro athlete to just your normal everyday person to the elderly. And not only is he a trainer, but he is also adept with, physical therapy, nutrition. Everything is going to be customized to you and what you need. There's a movement analysis when you first come in to address any deficiencies you have. It's all customized. Chad is the most positive, happy guy I've ever been around. Body Cemetery will get you right. I would, put my faith in Chad and his trainers any day. So go to bodycemetery.com, get set up. Chad, we appreciate you. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Cornerstone Financial Services. This is my good buddy Ryan Kaiser, who has 18 years in the business. They are located at 2001 West Monroe Street, 217-718-4670. This is an absolute baseball family, the Kaiser family. They're Cubs crazy. They're part of the Arsenal family. Ryan specializes in retirement planning, estate planning, is a certified financial planner, and does wealth management. There's over 60 years of experience in that building with other financial services guys. Please go see them for anything you might have in this field. We really appreciate you. Big fan of Ryan Kaiser. We are also brought to you by Cardinal Cleaning. They can be reached at cardinalcleaningonline.com and 217-679-6567. The owner-operator, Adam Springer, local baseball dude, family friend, stand out at Chatham Glenwood in the mid-'90s. Also had a stellar career at Rend Lake and Kentucky Wesleyan. Cardinal Cleaning can take care of any cleaning needs you have. Home, business, restaurant, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you need, they can take care of you. Get a hold of Cardinal Cleaning. They'll do the rest. We are also brought to you by Christ the King's Men's Club through my good buddy John Chisholm. We came up together playing baseball. We played for the Flame together, Springfield High, and then he went on to play at Spoon River for a little bit. They are selling bourbon raffle tickets right now for $100. You have a 1 in 10 chance to win. The raffle is being held on February the 22nd, 7 p.m. at the Crafted Stag. They have an absolute insane lineup of high-end bourbon for the winners. Contact my good buddy again, John Chisholm, at 217-725-8682 if you're interested. Please go and support these guys. We really appreciate you. Thanks, Christ the King Men's Club. This episode is brought to you by Glisten Heating and Air. You can reach them at 217-341-3129 or visit glistenheatingandair.com. That's Glisson. This is owned and operated by Gibbs Gleason himself, a member of the 2000 Pleasant Plains baseball team that were state champs. That's the Dusty Bensko era, former guest. This guy's in the baseball community. He helps coach his son, who's in the local travel scene. This truly is the pros pro for HVAC in the area. I mean, this is a who's who of former pros that have used him. Let's talk about Corey Erickson, Jason Worth, Ryan Murphy, Jason Knadler, Justin Knadler, Brad Owens, Greg Morantz, Jason Washam, Eric Easley. His reviews speak for themselves. Call Glisten Heating and Air. They care about your air. We appreciate you.
Dusty, PJ.
Dusty and PJ? Aper?
Yep.
Are those all the ones that you've listened to?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's more.
I knew Bensko was like your dude growing up, wasn't he? Like he was like God to you. Mm-hmm. Paul Bunyan?
He was.
We're rolling, so I'm going to call this the rolling start, so I'm going to leave that in.
Sounds good.
Anyway, guys, here we go. Another episode of the Post-Game Spread. I'm your host, as always, Blake Helm. Sitting across from me, a very special dude to me. His name's Cale Hennemann. We go way back. Just to give a little bit of Cale stuff here, Pawnee, stand out in baseball, went to Eastern Illinois, played for the Sliders, played for the University of Memphis, Battle Creek, as well in the Northwoods, right? He's back now in the area. At one point, he was coaching for Belmont, assistant coaching, D1 after his playing career ended. Went through some other job stuff, ended up back in the area at Pawnee now. Cale, how are we doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Yes?
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. I'll go into how we know each other. It's kind of a cool story. So back in the day before I started firefighting, around 2014, is that when we first met, you think?
Yeah, it was after my freshman year of college, so that would have been 2015.
Okay, right. Well, you came to Body Cemetery, where I was training people, specializing in like baseball guys. That was really my kind of bread and butter. And then you and your brother came out and started training with us, Cade. And just, it was incredible. I'd never seen that kind of grit and determination and just the burning desire to like want to be better. And I really respected that from the get-go. So I felt like I wanted to like invest in you guys a little more than maybe others, but so cool to see how bad you wanted it. And then over the years, we've, continued to talk about exercise, about fitness, about hitting, and about life too. Just like it's evolved into more of like a friendship as well. And we still talk hitting all the time. We send videos back and forth. And it's just been great. So Cale, tell me a little bit about what life is like for you now, and then we'll get into some of our baseball stuff here.
Yeah, I am now a teacher at Pawnee High School, which is where I went to school growing up.
Right.
So kind of cool, full circle there. I was at BSN for about a year.
BSN Sports.
BSN Sports, yep.
They sell,
which is one of your sponsors.
Right, yeah. We just got him hooked up. Adam Anderson. Thanks, brother.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that job. I just know that I enjoy – I love baseball, but the best part of coaching is impacting young kids.
Yeah, I can tell you're all fired up by it,
high school kids.
We talk all the time, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I just figured I can impact even more in the classroom. Yeah. So while I like the job at BSN, I really wanted to pursue this, and I'm very grateful for BSN, but it was part of my path to get to where I am now, which I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah, and we'll get through kind of like how you kind of winded your way back into baseball here, because I'm really glad that you did, because for a while you went into, was it orthopedic sales, and right?
Yep.
Hated it, right?
Medical sales, could not stand it for a year and a half.
I know. I remember we were having these conversations. You're like, man, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I've had enough. And I remember being like, dude, why don't you go back to, coaching baseball? And you were kind of a little bit resistant to it, but eventually that came full circle. But you actually you coached at Belmont right after your career ended. But you were kind of over that in some ways too, right? Or that wasn't what you thought it was going to be? Or
Well, I think it was a hard time for me to get into it because I was bitter with being done playing.
Oh, that is a tough time, isn't it?
And
right. And feeling like you still can play, kind of.
Exactly.
Right.
And it was tough, and I got burnt out on it because, you grow up wanting to be a professional baseball player, but I wasn't good enough to play professionally, and so boom, you're into coaching, which is what I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
However, it was hard because I think the welcome to coaching moment was we had swept a 4-game series, and we played really well against the Missouri Valley teams. Mm-hmm. So players, I'm sure, went to Sweetapalooza to party.
Yeah.
And as a coach, and I wasn't a big party guy at all, but I'd go to those. And as a coach, you're turning around and doing the scouting report for Tuesday. It's like, man, we had a midweek game.
Yeah.
And so it's like the lemon was not worth the squeeze at that point. I loved playing.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed coaching, but it just wasn't the same. And again, like I said, the timing was bad just because I was going through a lot in my life, and being done playing baseball left a big void in my life, and I struggled without playing. And so
we've all been there, especially. Oh man, I know that deeply. So we'll get further into that, but I've got 78 questions for you. I think they're pretty well thought out. I really am fascinated when we get to your hitting stuff. I think I said in the Ben Hartle, we gave you a ton of shout out, respect in the Ben Hartle episode, as like I really think you're like a pro level hitting guy that is just at Pawnee High School right now, and that's just great for the Pawnee guys and for anyone in the area and the pro guys that want to work with you. But I think you could go step into pro ball right now as a hitting coach and be, do your dang thing. So we've got a bunch of hitting stuff in here, which I'm fascinated to hear, and I hope people out there want to hear it as well. But let's start off, and we kind of already touched it a little bit, but which guest have you listened to? Any thoughts on any of those guys? And let's just start going.
I'm halfway through Ben's.
Yeah.
And he's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Obviously.
Right.
Ryan Aper was cool because it related to how I felt when I was done playing. And he played at a higher level, but still the same emotions there.
That brokenhearted, what am I going to do now?
Yep.
I'm lost.
Yep. PJ Finnegan, which my dad had seen him play and knew he was a great player, but I had never seen him. But hearing him was pretty cool because he recruited me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Dusty, that's my guy. He...
Tell him about that. Yeah, you grew up watching him a little bit?
I grew up.
Your dad coached at Pawnee, right?
Yeah, so my dad coached at Pawnee. He still does.
Yeah, has been for a long time.
Yep, and they would play Plains, and Dusty obviously was awesome.
Yeah.
And we would go to University of Memphis baseball games growing up.
Oh, cool.
Which I loved, and I would love to sit next to the on-deck circle, and I would smell the pine tar, and we'll go back to that later.
Okay.
But Dusty would always turn and give us, knucks.
Really?
Well,
that's cool.
Obviously, my dad had coached against him.
Right.
And so I met him after a game one time, and we had kind of stayed in contact. I wrote a book on him.
I wrote a book on him
in 4th grade, and I won the book contest.
What was it called?
I think it's just The Life of Dusty Bensko. Yeah, he's probably
awesome.
He's probably who's this weird kid.
Shout out to Dusty Bensko. I know there was a book out there.
Oh yeah, crazy thing though. Which as a kid you don't understand this, but he was watching his sister Josie play in a basketball tournament at Pawnee. So we live in Pawnee. It was my 10th birthday.
Yeah.
Well, he was there, and apparently my dad said, hey, we're having a little get-together for Cale for his 10th birthday. Do you want to come by? And sure enough,
celebrity guest.
He comes by. And, it was the greatest thing to me.
Right.
Looking back, I'm like, how did he do that? That's crazy. He gave me a bat and everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Minnesota Twins, one of his bats he used.
Oh, that's incredible.
That was like the greatest memory ever. But, yeah, really, really good to me. He'll text me from time to time.
Oh, you guys have like a relationship a little bit back and forth?
Not anymore, but he'll text me. Like when my dad got his 300th win, he said, hey, tell your dad congrats.
Cool. Yeah.
Or we won a regional, hey, tell your dad congrats. That's pretty cool, especially for a guy that's not in the area anymore.
Absolutely. I'll never understand how that dude didn't get more of a chance in pro ball or get picked up out of high school. That was just one of the great baffling mysteries of baseball.
Yep.
Cool, man. Okay, so then next question. I asked this to all the guys. what's your earliest memory of like falling in love with the game? Are there any core memories that kind of help, start that love, that passion for baseball for you coming up?
I think I just grew up always going to the field and watching my dad's teams.
Right, yeah.
And we would hit in the living room with a little tiny bat with a softball. My mom would throw to me. And we had a piano behind me, and so my dad would always say, hey, wait back to the piano. So that was one of the things that one of my coaches would use growing up when I was 10 to 12. Hey, wait back to the piano, kid.
Really?
Just kind of funny. But honestly, my goal was to play professional baseball and Division I college baseball.
From what age?
5, 6, 7,
yeah,
somewhere in there.
I love that. That's great.
But my goal that almost was equal was to play for my dad and my uncle. I mean, I loved watching us play so much and the job they did. I mean, he was the first year he got there, they were 3-15, and then I think they won.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were over 500, I think, his third year, and then it just went up and up and up. And 10 years after he got the job, they lost in the Super Sectionals. So, I mean, that's where they took the program, and I was on that team. But it was just, man, I can't wait to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And that was my first goal, was I want to play for my dad and my uncle and help Pawnee go to a state tournament. And we didn't, but we're close. And so that's why it's special for me to be back here now.
Yeah.
Because I would always wish I could make the lineup growing up, and I would make the lineup, and he's probably annoyed by that. But now I do have a say in the lineup, so it's kind of cool.
Is that, I mean, obviously, I imagine you see yourself being a head coach someday at high school level?
Maybe, but I absolutely love where I'm at right now.
Yeah, sweet spot. I mean, how long has your dad been doing it?
27 years.
Does he have any talks of stepping away?
I don't know. I think he's really enjoying it right now. And when he has 4 years left after this year being an administrator. Okay. And so, I don't know. I mean, what else is he going to do when he retires? He's probably going to want to keep coaching.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I think Steinwart is he's retired as a teacher but continues to coach on. You can see your dad doing that as well?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Take me through some of the teams that you've played on since Little League. And if there are any teams that you feel like are special and you want to sit on for a little bit, we could talk about them. Yeah.
Honestly, one of the things that made playing at Pawnee special was our group stayed together until I was 14.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we got our butt kicked in some of these tournaments. But
building that chemistry is.
But you're building the chemistry. You're playing together. That was cool, and I didn't realize that until after high school how cool that was.
Yeah.
I played with the Statesmen for a year under Bo Gum.
Really?
Yeah, that was my sophomore year, freshman year, one of those two.
Okay.
Played for them. I mean, Mitch Trees. We had like 91 guys.
Trees was on that team?
Yeah, Trees, Dustin Woodcock, who's I think still playing in
wow.
Yeah. Zach Barnhart, Clay Shord.
Oh, some dudes on that team.
Brian Hobby.
Yeah.
I'm going to forget people. That's going to be Connor Etheridge.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone else.
Where'd he go play? Was it Quincy?
Belmont,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was cool. Gosh, I think I'm going to forget someone, but it's okay. Sorry, guys. And then we played for the Mules, which was for Clyde Oliver, which absolutely love that dude.
Okay.
I used some of his coaching, just what I've learned from him.
Who are some of the names on that roster that stand out to you?
We had Ryan Roper, who played at University of Illinois. Mm-hmm. From Harrisburg, we had Keegan McHood, who went to Kentucky out of high school. Brian Hobby went with us. Obviously went to Indiana. Nick Maton, obviously a big leaguer.
Oh, yeah.
Hunter Morris went to Eastern Illinois. Bobby Winthy, Eastern Illinois. I'm trying to think who else. Brent Gibbs, actually a guy who got drafted. He went to Indiana.
Okay.
They kind of did him dirty, but he transferred to somewhere out west and got drafted in the 7th round as a catcher.
Were you guys traveling all around the country or staying relatively local?
We would travel all over. And the coolest thing about the Mules, and I don't know how they did it. I'm so grateful for them. But they would drive 2 white vans, and it was just like college. So we would travel together. We would room together.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I mean, your parents wouldn't be with you. It's like college. They're preparing you for college.
Yeah.
And we would go to Oklahoma State, Alabama, Notre Dame, you name it. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's where I really learned about how it's going to be like in college. And, they prepare us for that. And there's some tough lessons in there because they were hard on us.
Yeah.
But they were guys that you wanted to go win for and compete for.
Absolutely, man. Some talent on that team.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Give me a recap, and you can be longer than a recap if you want, but like of your high school career, like what did you guys accomplish anything or 4-year starter, I imagine, or 3, 4?
4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were really good. I think I won 102 games in 4 years, something like that.
Yeah.
We lost in the super sectional my sophomore year on a walk-off. That one hurt. Freshman year, we were actually it was probably the best team we've ever had, and we got upset in the regional final by a guy who was on that when we should have beat him.
Yeah.
Junior year, lost the sectional title, and then sophomore year, lost in the sectional semi.
Okay.
So we were good. I mean, it's funny you brought that up because I was looking at our max prep schedule this year.
Yeah.
And you can go back and look at the 1A rankings from way back. And so my 4 years of high school, we ended the year ranked. My freshman year 11th, sophomore year 3rd, junior year 18th, and then senior year 6th.
Oh wow, yeah,
which
a lot of success out there.
Should have been to a state tournament there, but we didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I mean, that's the most fun I ever had playing baseball because we won so much.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
High school?
High school. Yep.
Was there a specific year that was the most fun for you?
Sophomore year.
That was it?
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
What was the culmination, or why?
I think because the pain of losing the year before in the way that we did, and then we started at year 2 and 4, and then we rattled off like 27 to 29, and just it was a really close team, and we knew we were good.
Yeah,
we weren't even the 1 seed in our regional; we were the 2, and we actually beat Keegan McCood, who played for the Mules.
Right,
he was a dude. We scored 2 in the first, and that's all we needed. Beat them 2-0.
Love that.
But yeah, I just loved it because you went out every single day and you knew you were going to win, whether you did or you didn't. But you went out there and competed and knew you were going to win. And I never had that in college. The sliders were good when I was there.
Right.
But at Memphis, we were always 500. At Eastern, we were well below 500.
Yeah.
And so I really missed winning.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved winning.
Yeah.
And I still do love winning.
It is hard to be raised as like in a winning culture like that, and then go to a losing kind of. Some collegiate programs are just not winners, and they're kind of perennial 500 guys, and that's just, how do you still find meaning in that? This could be challenging.
Yep.
Right.
Correct.
So I'm interested about this. You got to play. You are a coach's son, right? To your core. Tell me about what is good about playing for your dad, and what's difficult.
I think the good part is, like I said earlier, I grew up wanting to play for him.
Yeah.
And my uncle. And those two mean so much to me. My uncle, Rafe, I think he stopped in 2015 being an assistant.
Okay.
But, I mean, he's awesome. I didn't always agree with him when I was in high school, but he's a guy where you look back, you're like, man, he was right about everything.
I got some people like that from my life as well.
So, yeah, I'm pretty close with him. I just was with him the other day, and I still bounce ideas off him.
Yeah.
So, I think just the wanting to win is the good part. You're all in this together.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as bad parts,
do you guys ever butt heads, or was there ever like blurred lines of like being too much of a dad or too much of a coach right now? Or
no, he was
separate?
harder on me.
Yeah.
There were times where I got mad because I thought he was unfair, but he probably should have been harder on me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I won't say there's really any really bad parts of it.
Well, that's a good.
So,
thing,
yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I've never asked anybody this, but this is like close to my heart. Did you play wiffle ball growing up, and do you think there is any, merit to kids playing wiffle ball in terms of like developing skill?
100%.
Yeah.
It's funny when parents ask me, "Hey, my kid's 7 years old. Can you give him a hitting lesson?"
Yeah.
Usually, I just say, "Play wiffle ball. Just play wiffle ball."
Yeah.
Because just let them love the game. Don't have them come to. And I, obviously, if they're going to go to someone, I would love to work with your kid, but just play in the backyard with them. And maybe they don't have time. But, yes, I grew up playing wiffle ball, and I think just competing. You're trying to win.
Yeah.
And I think if they throw a ball at you and you're trying to hit it, your body's going to figure out the best way to do it.
I totally agree with you.
Or instead of a lot of these coaches will coach movements out of players. And so,
oh, man, that's the dang truth.
That's why I have blast motion sensors that I use.
Yeah.
And the kids with the best swings usually are the youngest kids. You know why? Because they haven't been
coached out yet.
They haven't been screwed up.
Man, don't. Yeah,
So
I've seen so many beautiful swings get coached into these robotic movements that aren't natural, and then they're lost. Myself included. Not that my swing was ever beautiful, but I definitely fell into that category at times. Do you think kids are still playing wiffle ball?
I think they do. It's funny. A few guys on our team at Pawnee, I know they have one of those blitz balls, and they'll play from time to time, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that wasn't around when I came with the blitz ball.
Yeah, and so it'll go all.
Oh, it's crazy, right? Yeah, it's kind of like a diamond-y.
So think about that. I always tell them, if you can hit that, you can easily hit the high school level.
Right, absolutely.
So,
I'd love to hear about the recruiting process for you coming out of Pawnee. You ended up choosing Eastern, so can you kind of tell me about who was talking to you, how it went, how your visit went, and why you ended up choosing Eastern?
Pretty much no one recruited me at all.
Really?
Yeah, so Lincoln Land did, and then Eastern did late. And I was going to go to Lincoln Land, and Eastern came in and said, hey, we're going to offer you a spot. And I said, well, I don't want to go if I'm not going to have any money, just because of the commitment part of it.
Yeah.
And so when they did give me some, then I decided I wanted to go to a four-year university. And I can't say I loved the visit or anything. It was just like, man, I want a chance to play at a higher level.
Yeah, this is a Division I school showing interest in me.
Exactly. So
why would I not take this?
Yeah, so I did that. And honestly, if I would have gone to Lincoln Land, I'm sure I would have done well, but I wouldn't have been at University of Memphis because I wasn't a tools guy. I wasn't a guy who was going to flash tools. I didn't run great. It wasn't like I had a great arm. I was solid in the field.
It's a beautiful swing.
I knew the zone.
Yeah.
Didn't have much power.
This dude could hit. Fall out of bed and hit.
But yeah, so it was honestly really good that I went to Eastern because I would have never ended up at Memphis.
That resume of I can
hit
done
at
it
this
at Division I level.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we played some SEC teams at Eastern, and I always hit well against them. So
right.
So yeah, I mean that's what. If I went to Lincoln Land, I don't think I would have been at a D1, to be honest with you. So
right. Well, then, I mean, you had some nice stats. I mean, freshman year, maybe not the nicest year, but
yeah, I was gonna say,
sorry, second year. So I mean, 228 as a freshman, but it looks like you're in 40 games, so in the lineup quite a bit. But as a sophomore, 52 games, 200 at bats, 312, 14 doubles. So jump in there.
Yep.
Showing that you belonged in between. You did the sliders there for a little bit. Was that the summer that you and I worked together?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I got hurt, which was actually great because it allowed us to get after it in the weight room more.
Right. I remember that kind of being a decision of like, what is more beneficial for my career moving forward right now? Mm-hmm. Is it playing sliders or do I need to get stronger and faster? And you kind of went stronger and faster. And
by the way, before we go any farther,
sure.
Need to shout you out because you're the guy who changed my career in college. I got out of high school weighing 145 pounds. I got just destroyed in the weight room, and I went to Blake
at Eastern.
Yeah, went to Blake after my freshman year and said, "Man, I gotta get stronger. Like, give me whatever you got to gain weight." And I ended up gaining 15 pounds that summer, and I was a
stronger,
different player.
You were,
so
dude.
That I credit you for changing my career. If I didn't go to you, maybe I don't end up at Memphis.
Wow. Well, thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. We, still one of probably my favorite person to ever train. We really. I threw everything I had at you. We were doing a lot of conjugate periodization with, chains and bands and really trying to address strength and speed and power and rotational strength. And, man, I just remember showing up every day and being like, this kid, I can't break him. Not that I was like – I didn't want to break you, but I was giving you everything that I possibly could to stimulate you to get better. But I just knew that you were never going to come in and be like, this is too much. No mas. That was not in your vocabulary. Yeah, you loved it. There was an intensity there that I think I saw some of myself in that too, like when I was in my career and how intense I was about it. And I was like, I want to pour into this guy. So I'm glad you said that. I had some guys coming up, the Knadler brothers, Ryan O'Malley, a guy named Tim Wallen that really looked out for me a lot. And I tried to make myself available to you kind of like after that. And like we were talking about baseball, about life. I remember how important those guys were to me. So I tried to, I don't know how you saw me or whatnot, but I always wanted to be that kind of a guy for you if I could be. So tried to be there for you.
For sure.
Yeah,
You're
buddy.
A dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. Me and you were boys for sure. I've always appreciated us. Yeah, man. So so tell me about what was good at Eastern, what was bad. I hope you're comfortable enough to speak on some of this because you did end up leaving.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So 4 people left. One of them was Nick Maton, who went to Lincoln Land and then got drafted in the Phillies.
That's right.
Played in the Bigs.
Yeah.
Andy Fisher, who was really good friends with me, and he went on to be Big Ten Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah.
We had...
So you guys had some talent there.
Yeah, Ben Hughes left, who was also good. One of our guys on the mound went to Dayton, and then I left to Memphis. So that's 4 guys right there that some pretty good players.
Yeah.
I would just say you just talked about my intensity and wanting to get better and win. I don't think the culture there
didn't
matched
match.
that. Yeah. I mean, that's really all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
And then I also knew I'd gotten a taste of success when we played SEC teams. I always hit well against them. Mm-hmm. And so I had a thought in my head of, man, I can play wherever. I can play anywhere. Like, give me a spot wherever,
you believed in yourself.
and I can play.
Yeah. And now a few words from our sponsors. Thank you. We are also brought to you by BSN Sports, specifically Adam Anderson, who grew up playing ball with Blaine Cravens and Walt Patton, former guests here, and played football at Illinois College. BSN Sports, the nation's leading supplier of sporting goods, uniforms, and apparel. They provide game-changing solutions to their customers and work to make life easier for coaches. They have over 13 sales pros in the central Illinois area. Reach out to Adam Anderson at adam.anderson@bsnsports.com. They'll take care of you. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks, BSN. We are also brought to you by Washco Strength and Speed, located at 3604 North Peoria Road, 217-899-3233. Of course, I'm talking about Jared Washco, the Springfield area firefighter, the former pitching standout at SHG and SCI. He is credentialed. He is a CPT, CSCS. Those are the highest credentials you can get in the strength and conditioning game. I think he is absolutely fantastic working with young athletes, probably the best in the area, working with baseball players. His results say it all. He's worked with high school guys, college guys, pro guys, and they keep coming back to him. They get bigger, they get faster, they get stronger, more explosive, better at their sport, less injury prone. He handles it all. He does arm care work. He does speed work. Go see Jared if you are a local athlete trying to get the most out of yourself. Invest in yourself. Go see Jared. We are also brought to you by the Office Sports Bar and Grill, located at 1919 West Isles Avenue. This is a really special place. I've been going there since probably 20 years, since I was in college, and there's just so much cool sports memorabilia, dating back through Springfield's history. All different high schools represented, pro guys, college guys. There's some great stuff on the walls. It's a great place to get together with friends, a great environment, inviting, warm, happy, lively. Great place for great conversation, great drinks, and great food. Please go see this place. Go patronize them. We really appreciate the support. The Office Sports Bar and Grill.
And I wanted to prove it at the highest level. And so I had several teams reach out, but Memphis, we actually played Memphis, and I had a good series against them.
Yeah.
I hit third for Eastern that weekend.
Yeah.
And so they needed an infielder, and it honestly worked out. And at the time, people don't know this, but the American was always a top 4 RPI league.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
we had USF, who was winning 40 games a year.
Was Tulane in that?
Yep.
Yeah.
UCF, who was going to regionals. Tulane.
Yeah.
Houston, who was at that time top 10 every year.
Yeah.
UConn, who people don't know about UConn, but they're always top 20.
Strong. Yeah, I don't even know where any of these teams are at now. Like the conferences have changed so much.
East Carolina.
Like, where the hell are these
East
guys?
Carolina's always awesome.
Right.
Wichita State, I mean, the craziest thing, my junior year that I was at Memphis, they finished 8th out of 9 teams in our league, and they had 11 guys drafted that year.
Wow.
And they finished 8th. We had 5 teams make regionals. Alec Boehm was on that team.
Yeah.
He was their third baseman. They had another first-rounder. And then Cody Hewer is a big leaguer for the Cubs, I think now. As a reliever, he's like 98 to 102 from over here.
Yeah.
Faced him. He was their Friday night guy. He was nasty.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys that I struck out 3 times once in my college career, and that was against him. He got me twice, and they brought in a reliever to get me. But yeah.
So, and this is before, now you can move around and there's portals and all this. This was different back then, right?
So I had to sit out a year. Yep.
You had to sit, right?
Yep.
When you transferred to D1 schools, you had to sit.
Yep.
So that was a big decision too. I'm going to take.
Yep.
But you looked at it as kind of a year to get bigger and stronger too, right?
It was honestly based around how much progress we made that summer. And I thought, man, if I have a whole year to get bigger and stronger and faster, then who knows what I can be.
So how did you go about finding a team at that time? Because there's rules about communicating with people, and did you have to tell Eastern I'm done before you can talk to other people, or?
I had one of my college coaches, or not college coaches, one of my summer, Clyde Oliver actually.
Yeah.
He reached out to a few people to see if there's interest.
Some connections.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then honestly, the Memphis one happened because I was playing with 2 guys from Memphis in Springfield.
That's right.
That's how it happened, and they knew I was looking for a team, and they called their coach because they liked me at the plate.
Yeah.
And we're best friends. I'm best friends with those guys. I was in both of their weddings.
Yeah.
So pretty cool how that happened. But that wouldn't have happened unless they play with me in the summer.
Yeah. Who else did you communicate with? Anyone else?
SIU and PJ was there.
Yeah.
But they had a bunch of infielders, so it ended up not
I
being a
remember
fit.
calling PJ and being like, dude, Cale's available. I was like, this guy has a lot of PJ traits. It's like, he was like, man, we're stuffed with infielders right now. We can't.
Yep.
We don't have a spot. And I was like, you're going to regret it.
Bradley, a little bit.
Okay.
Valpo. Trying to think of anything else. That's pretty much a few D2s. But again, in D2, you didn't have to sit out. You could go and play. I almost wanted to sit out. What's up?
You weren't going to do that, though?
Yeah, no, I wanted to sit out to get stronger. And I wanted to prove again I can play at this level.
So. Yeah. What stood out about Memphis? You ended up just kind of there because of those guys that you played with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me about your time in Memphis. Let's start there. And was it a transition in terms of better competition, better facilities, better culture? What you got?
Yeah, you said what drew me to it though. I will answer that is they won 37 games.
Yeah.
The year 2 years before, so it was okay. Man, they're going to win. They had won. They'd been to a regional in 07, which was only 8 years ago at that point, and they had just won a good amount. They'd won 30 games, I think, 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And so that was part of it, but as far as the adjustment period, when I got there in the fall, it was amazing. And I felt like a lot of our guys didn't realize how lucky they were of the facilities that we had. But, I mean, I came from Eastern, and our we didn't have a locker room.
Yeah.
Well, at Memphis, you had a locker room off the field with showers. Didn't have that at Eastern.
Yeah.
You had the weight room right off that. So everything's right there.
Yeah.
And you have a batting cage where you don't have to – at Eastern, you had to get the batting cage
You already
down.
had perspective on this.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Oh, it's awesome. You had all the stuff out. You could hit whenever you wanted. There's a code. Go in there.
Some of those guys took it for granted, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
And they some people complain about our field, which, compared to our league, our field was the worst.
Yeah.
But, I mean, dude, it's still a nice field.
Yeah.
So, and I there was an adjustment period because the stuff was better in the fall than I had seen consistently.
Right.
But I didn't have a bad fall. I still had a pretty good fall, and I loved Memphis, man.
Where were they? I mean, you're capable of playing pretty much any infield position. Where were they kind of sliding you?
Second base.
Second. Yeah. You ended up playing a lot of third, though, too.
Played a lot of third by necessity. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. So tell me about what was good at Memphis. What did you enjoy there? I mean, obviously a stronger conference, stronger schedule, more facilities. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it just had a bigger feel to it. I'm a big college sports guy, so you go to football games, Memphis basketball.
Yeah, something to root for.
If you look around, I'm a big Memphis guy.
Yeah.
So
proud.
I loved it, man. The food, the people.
Yeah.
And just they gave me an opportunity. And actually our head coach is just getting inducted into the TCBA Hall of Fame.
Okay. And
so I just made a video of, hey, thanks, coach, for the opportunity. But really, they gave me an opportunity, and he didn't have to do that.
Right.
And so I loved it there because they gave you everything that you needed to be successful, and it was up to you. Are you going to do it, or are you going to just take it for granted?
Now, for what I remember, I remember you being like your last year there being like, man, I'm too young to be feeling like this. Like your back was just on fire. Tell me about battling your body while you were at Memphis.
Yeah, so my first year I had a good year. Really good year.
Did you hit 300?
Hit 300.
Yeah.
With, I think it was like 425 on base.
Yeah.
So did a good job controlling the strike zone, obviously. And then I wanted to play professional baseball. And so
I remember these conversations.
Yeah, so I talked to you a lot about this. And I ended up doing a leg kick because I thought it would make me hit for more power. Which
we were like, right, go ahead. Sorry.
Which, no, you're good. It's just it's so dumb looking back because a leg kick doesn't give you power.
No, it's timing.
It's just timing.
Yeah.
And even if I would have hit 8 home runs, I still would not have been a power hitter.
Right.
Yeah.
And
what I did with the leg kick was it took away my best tool, which was my eyes.
Yeah, moving them.
And my plate discipline.
Yeah.
And so I regret that. I think I started the year like 3 for 30.
Yeah.
And I ended up hitting respectable, but I was honestly miserable to be around that year because
down on yourself and what was going on.
I felt sorry for myself a lot.
I've been there too, buddy.
I couldn't bend over and touch my toes. I couldn't tie my shoes. I had to get on my bed and do it because my back hurt so bad. God. I mean, there was a road trip at Wichita State where we didn't fly for some reason, which was so dumb. But we drove 12 hours, and I was hitting BP that night for our practice, and our hitting coach said, man, are you okay? I said, dude, I can't swing. And so he's like, just don't hit.
You're so stiff.
So looking back, the fact that I played 56 games is insane. And our strength coach, he's at Mississippi State now. His name's Scott Shipman, and he was awesome. a lot of strength coaches would have said, "No, dude, you need to go squat." And we didn't front squat all year. We didn't deadlift all year, just so I could play.
Load in the spine, yeah.
But yeah, and then it just, it was pretty negative. And so not a fun guy to be around at times.
Dude, my senior year was very similar. Tell me about, because I remember these conversations that we had, but, you had a hit well, 300, right? Mm-hmm. We were talking about kind of like what is going to get you drafted, right? And it was like, you got to show that you can pop some balls out, right?
Yeah.
So you were thinking, I need to show some power to get drafted, right?
Yep.
So if you could do that over again, what would you have done different?
I would have, by the way, doing what I did was what I thought was best.
Absolutely. So I hope you can give yourself a pass on that, because at the time everyone was thinking that leg kicks were going to add power. We didn't realize we were both in the infancy of understanding swings at a deeper level too.
Yeah. If I would have gone back, I would have been the best at what I'm best at. Just hammer that.
Yeah.
And that is controlling the strike zone. That's just getting the hits. I tell our hitters, we're in the hit business, man. I don't care how it happens. Yeah. Whether you hit it 97 or you hit it 65. If it's a hit, it's a hit.
We're in the hit business. Oh, man, that might be the name of this.
So, but yeah, so if I could go back, that's what I would have done. Then I would have just trained in the weight room to get stronger. And if I would have barreled more balls, I would have hit more home runs.
Yeah.
And maybe I hit 3.
Were you taking a bigger hack? You felt like?
Not necessarily. I just felt, again, I'm not a very athletic guy. Yeah. So I couldn't handle a leg kick.
Yeah.
And eventually I went out of it and I hit better the rest of the year.
You ended up banging it at some point?
I banged it. And
how long did you roll it out for?
I think the 3 for 30 start was the end of it.
Like, this ain't it.
Yeah. And then it's funny, though, I went away from it and started crushing balls off the machine.
Yeah.
Weird,
Right.
So, yeah, I think, but you live and you learn, and then you talk to players now. You try not to have your players make the same mistakes that you did.
Right, absolutely. Passing
and talking
it down.
About, I think simplicity is great.
Tell me about some of your summer ball experiences. So first you played for the Sliders, right, in the Prospect League?
Yep.
How was that? So parts of one summer and then a full.
Correct.
The next summer. So tell me about that for you.
The first one was great because I won a job my freshman year at Eastern, and then the entire time I had won it, I was like, man, I can't lose this. I can't lose it. And so what happens? You play terrible.
Right, yeah.
So then I was mentally not in a great spot. Went to Springfield, and I enjoyed the fact of, hey, every day I'm out here, I'm trying to get better. So instead of being scared of making an error, think, hey, this next play is a chance for me to get better. Whether I make the play or not, it's a chance to get better. Same thing at the plate. Working on different things at the plate. There's a kid at Belmont that walked 70 times in 1 year. And so I thought, man, if I could be similar to that guy.
Yeah.
And so I took too many pitches that summer because I went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Where you realize the more pitches you hit well, the more balls they're going to throw.
Sure.
I kind of took more pitches that I shouldn't have. But yeah, I only played 3 or 4 weeks because I got hurt with the arm, like you said.
Right. And
then the second year, we were really, really good. And it was fun because we won all the time. And we averaged, I think, 2,000 fans a game.
Yeah.
And some of my best memories are from that summer where, the game we clinched against Quincy, there were 6,000 there. And a lot of people from Pawnee were there. And so that was really cool.
Yeah, some friends and family got to come watch him.
Correct.
Yeah. So tell me about, jumping up. What I think I know, playing in the Northwoods would be a jump up in league.
Yes.
Yeah? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we played I was in Battle Creek, and that was one of the worst spots to be in, apparently.
Why is that?
Because all the travel, you had to go around the lake.
Okay.
And so, there was one game we played at Wisconsin Rapids against Bryson Stott, actually, who's in the Bigs. And we had a rain delay, and so we got out of there at 12. It was an 8-hour drive, got back at 8 a.m., and then played the next night at 7.
Oh, gosh.
So there were some nights like that. And then, actually, on top of that, we got back to our locker room, and someone had broken in and stolen $10,000 worth of stuff. So it was, it was crazy. It was crazy. But I didn't play well in the Northwoods. I
saw that. What do you attest that to?
So I had just come off sitting out, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And so I was expecting to play every day. I want to play every day.
Yeah.
Let me play. These guys are coming off big seasons, but they played a lot of games. Put me in there every day. I don't care where I'm playing. Well, I was playing once every 2 games, and then sometimes once every 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
And I had struggled, so I'll give you that. And the kid he was playing in front of me, which I was friends with, he was from a JUCO, and he had better tools than me. Faster, had more bat speed.
Yeah.
But obviously I thought I could play. I understand. When you look back, I get why he played more. So it's not me, man, I don't know why I didn't play. Well, I get it.
Yeah.
But I went in there and just said, hey, man, like I'm ready to play. If you need, I can play every day. These guys are banged up. I can play.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't like my body language, which I'd never heard at that point.
Huh.
But looking back, I didn't do something. There's one time I struck out, I remember this, and I walked back to the dugout with my shoulders slumped. And he kind of called me out for that. And he's right. It's bad body language.
Yeah.
So I didn't help myself either. And it just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And I actually was up there with my roommate, who was a freshman All-American at Memphis, and we didn't hit a combined 300. How insane is that? So it was miserable for both of us. I got out of there early. Could I have handled it better? Yes.
Decent host family?
Awesome host family.
Okay. Well, that's good at least.
We would always come home, and he would have like a 5-course meal cooked, like steak, potato. I mean, it was amazing.
Great. Yeah.
So, yeah, he saved it from being worse, for sure. For sure.
Pretty stiff competition up there?
Wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah. I thought the arms were just okay. It was like 84, 86 a lot of nights.
Oh, really?
I mean, every once in a while you'd see 89, 92.
Yeah.
There was a lefty that was 92, 94, but you had no idea where it was going. That was a terrifying at bat. Remember that?
I've been there
not
before.
hitting well, and I might get in the head. So
I remember it being pretty – I mean, we've had our own private, personal conversations, but tell me about how hard it was for you when, you didn't have the season you wanted at Memphis as a senior, did not get picked up by anybody. How hard was it for you to walk away from the game as a player? Or were you ready at that moment? Because I remember your body, you feeling like, man, I remember your body feeling pretty beat up.
I told myself that I was ready because there were some mornings where I woke up and thought, man, I don't know if I can play today.
Yeah.
My back hurts so bad getting out of bed. But then reality sets in 3 months later, and you're thinking, how do I have a life without playing?
Right. Your whole life is revolved around this for so long.
And I think that's where the bitterness came from. So obviously the last game was tough.
Yeah.
We lost in a walk-off, and I remember that one it was against UCF, and we had blown a big lead. Yeah, I mean, sad, but I had convinced myself, well, my thing is I want to coach, and so I'm going to just dive right into it. And so I didn't let myself feel the emotions I needed to feel.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel those until a year or two later, which is a problem. So you can imagine how miserable I was at times in those 2 years. There's a lot of emotions I didn't deal with.
Yeah. I remember trying to kind of coax you into some indie ball, and there was a guy that I played with in indie ball named Michael Torres. He played at USC in Texas, and reminded me a lot of you, man. He was like a middle infielder guy, not a ton of pop, but he was going to hit 300 like wherever he went, and just like he was there for like 5 or 6 years, like an indie ball, just grinder. Like he found his spot with the Windy City Thunderbolts, and they just kept him there. What was there ever any consideration of indie ball, or just that wasn't for you, or what?
The low of the game at that point was pretty low.
Really?
Because of the body and just how bitter I was after how bad my senior year was.
Yeah.
And, I didn't want to do it because I think I knew I'm not going to make it in professional baseball. Like, I'm not going to make the major leagues.
The show.
You know? Yeah. And that was the goal. And so if I didn't get drafted, I'll move on.
Gotcha.
And I don't honestly regret it either, like not playing. Just because I think my path has allowed me to be happy now. Like, I really enjoy what I'm doing now.
Okay.
And if I would not have gotten away from baseball or pursued it longer, I would have probably run myself into the ground.
Interesting. Was there ever any time in those first couple of years, your body's feeling a little bit better, where you're like, man, maybe I could do this again. Like, maybe I'm trying to come back or anything like that? Was that ever? I think a lot of guys go through that.
Yeah, there was, I think 2 summers ago, I was feeling pretty good.
Were you?
And I was hitting,
Are you 29 now?
29, yeah. And I was hitting balls farther than I'd ever hit.
Yeah.
And even now, when I get in the cage, it's still there.
Good.
It doesn't leave.
Yeah,
it's there.
His swing does look good. He showed me, like, every once in a while you hop in the cage, too. It looks – this guy could step in and hit college baseball right now, no problem.
Well, I appreciate that. But it's just something, like you said, you hit so much, it's not going to leave you. You can get in off a machine, you'll be able to hit.
Yeah.
But, I thought about it. But then you really think, well, then what's the life look like if I do go play independent baseball?
Yeah.
And I'd already lived a life of no money as a volunteer assistant, so I didn't really want to go back to that. You know. And the thing that I enjoy the most in my life to get away from my job or baseball is working out, is lifting.
That's
and that
awesome.
when I was at the lowest point of my life, that's what I went to. And so now that's become my thing. And so I enjoy eating really well. I enjoy eating the food that I want. And that couldn't be possible if I went and played indie ball or minor league baseball. That was also part of it. Do I want to grind it out? No. I miss being in the batter's box a lot. But I mean, there was thoughts. I talked to a few people about it. Man, should I do this? They don't want a guy who's 27 with no pop, no speed, and no arm.
Hey, I played D1 baseball 5 years ago.
I can get hits, though.
I get hits. So you ended up, being an assistant at Belmont right after you walked away, right?
Correct.
How did you get hooked up with that? And then let's talk a little bit more in depth about that. Because baseball is a really interesting game of connections, right?
How did I get hooked up with that? Oh, it was the Butler head coach now, Blake Beamer.
Okay.
He knew I was trying to get in. He coached me at Eastern Illinois, and he's awesome. He was the assistant my sophomore year. And I think he's a head coach by the time he was 30, which was his goal. So very cool by him. He's an awesome dude. Would want my kid to play for him. But he, I think, sent some feelers out, and there were 2 people that got back to me, and it was St. Louis and it was Belmont. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, both were interested in me, and he said, well, would you rather live in St. Louis or Nashville? Okay, that's a good point. So Belmont, honestly, Belmont just got back to me quicker.
Yeah.
They seemed more interested, and so I went down, interviewed. They obviously liked me enough to give me a shot, and I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful for that.
When you started this, were you like, I want to see what it feels like to coach collegiately, or were you thinking, I want to be a head coach someday or a hitting coach, or I'm going to go professional? What was the goal when you were starting that?
I wanted to win a national championship as an assistant, as a head coach.
Yeah.
I really loved Tim Corbin. I mean, that's the guy. I want to be that guy, And as I got into it, I was in it for a year where I was still, man, this is my goal. I love this.
Were you there for 2 or 1 year?
I was there for 2 because it was COVID. Yeah. COVID was the first year.
Right. That'd be pretty tough.
Yep. Yeah. And then I came back, and it was – I think a lot of people realized some stuff during COVID. What's really important to us.
Yeah.
And so I think it hit a point where I realized the people that are close to you, they don't really care if you win a national championship. That's not gonna. You're gonna get up next morning and be the same person.
Right.
And so if you're not loving what you're doing and the process of it, then you should probably look for something else.
Why were you not loving it?
Well, I wasn't making any money. That's part of it.
Yeah. Well, that's expected, though, right?
Yep.
You start, you know how it's going to be.
But that started weighing more. I think one of my other good friends got out of it too, and just because I had given up all this time as a player to miss stuff on the weekends, not go to parties, which was fine. I had no problem doing that.
Yeah.
But then as a coach, I'm seeing my buddies live a normal life on the weekend and be able to hang out with each other and go on trips. And I just thought, man, I just don't think this is worth giving up these life experiences. I haven't lived, really. Yeah. I've just been a baseball guy, and that's fine. I loved it. Yeah. But it's not worth it playing. That was the reason, not the money reason. So you reminded me of that.
That makes sense. And for those of you that don't know, really, if you're going to try to make it as a collegiate baseball coach, you're going to have some lean years. You're going to be a volunteer assistant. You're going to have to move staffs a couple times. You're going to have to work your way up. You're going to be the outfield guy and then the hitting guy and then, the assistant. It takes a while to get where you want to go, right? When you say so, it's a hard life.
Correct.
Yeah, you got to really be into it. You got to be 100%. Your heart has to be into it. Interesting stuff there. So then, at what point did you realize, I don't want to keep doing this?
I would say midway through the second year.
Yeah.
And I could not stand doing scouting reports.
Why? What was it about that was so disheartening for you?
I mean, whatever I do, I'm going to do a good job. That's just how I am.
That is.
And so we had Synergy, which is a program that files everyone's games into a database. Okay. And so you can look up if Blake Helm hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning against a lefty. You can look that up for specific games. Well, we have all that data. And so the old way of doing scouting reports is you just call, if Northern Illinois played Duke, for example, you'd call Northern after the week, hey, can we get the scouting report on that? Mm-hmm. Well, now we have that data, we're going to go off of video and stats and just the data that we have, what they throw in certain counts, what pitch is their punch-out pitch, all that stuff. That's going to be more accurate than a generic scouting report from Northern Illinois.
Right, yeah.
This is just the example.
Yeah.
And so scouting reports for me would take, to do one team's pitchers would take 5 hours.
Yeah.
And that's in addition to practice and all the stuff you got to do as an assistant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, those would wear on you. And that was one of the examples I used is we swept a 4-game series, and then, boom, I got to hop around and do one on a team for Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is you don't realize when you play 4 teams in one weekend, that's terrible for scouting report purposes.
Yeah.
You're doing 20 hours of scouting.
Yeah.
So,
were you working with the hitters too? Like, or what was your main specialty, or were they having you?
I was the outfield guy. I would work with hitters, and then base running. I was really helping with base running.
Okay.
Because Matt Tallarico, I had known him a little bit, and so I was kind of playing around with that kind of stuff.
I remember you were writing a book on hitting at one point. Remember that?
Yeah, I had a document where I was just writing stuff down on it.
Yeah. And then you got disillusioned with it, and then with baseball, and like it's so cool to watch you come all the way back full circle to where now you're like fired up about it again, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I love that, dude. It's so cool. What do you miss most about the game as a player?
I miss knowing there's a dude on the mound and going up there and saying, I'm going to beat this guy.
Yeah.
That's what I miss. I miss the competing. I also I was kind of weird. I took pride in whenever the umpire would make a bad call, I'd almost like it. Because I would think, I'm still going to get a hit even though he made a bad call.
I'm going to overcome that.
Yep. I liked that part of it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And then everyone's going to say your teammates. I miss BP when the music's blaring. You're somewhere in the South playing baseball. I mean, nothing gets better than that.
Can't beat that, can you?
No. I mean.
So this is special, too. Tell me about, we kind of touched around on this a little bit. Tell me about finding your way back. You know what? Once you were done with the ortho stuff and you were like, you moved home after that, essentially, right?
Correct.
How did you find your way back to this? You're just like, I'm going to help my dad for a little bit and see how this goes, or I got nothing else to do right now, and then it ignited this passion again?
Yeah, I would say we got to go a little bit back to medical sales.
Please, let's do it.
Because the reason I got into that was
make some money.
What's the opposite of no money? It's a lot of money. So medical sales was the thing. Okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah. I'm going to compete in this, and I'm going to be good at this.
Right, and it would make sense that because you are a competitive guy. That is kind of what that career field is. It's very alpha, competitive, kill, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I realized, again, I didn't love it. I didn't love selling medical products because I didn't care as much about it as baseball.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I obviously did a good job, but yeah, so I just realized, well, this lemon isn't worth the squeeze either. Yeah. You know, I don't care how much money. The stress is not worth it.
Yeah, and it's a stressful career, too.
Really stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, you're almost always on call. And so just the stress and the perspective of that and realizing that money is not everything.
Yeah.
And I would always talk with my favorite surgeon, Dr. Yu in Nashville. He's the ankle guy. He's awesome. His son plays at Duke, so we'd always talk baseball in there. And one day he was talking about blast motion. And so we started talking metrics during this surgery. And I thought to myself, what am I doing in here? And I think he was probably thinking the same thing. Right? What is this guy doing in here? And so honestly, when I told him, he said, man, that's good. And so I came back. I gave them my notice, a month's notice.
Yeah.
And I had hitting lessons because during COVID I came back and did hitting lessons, and I had I had a bunch of hitters.
Yeah. And
so all these kids are in high school now. So when I came back, I just sent out feelers, and my first Monday back, I had hitters from 8 to 5.
Man.
And so I didn't have to rush into getting a job because of that.
Yeah. And
so funny story is my last day of medical sales, I have an ankle fracture case I'm covering at 5 p.m. I was covering for a team member who had to go get on a flight. And it's this frat surgeon, kind of a frat guy. We're listening to hard rap music. I walk in there, it's blaring, which is kind of awesome. But during the surgery, our device has to go in across the ankle joint or above the ankle joint 1.5 to 2 centimeters. If it goes higher, it can cause problems in the patient. So as us, our job is to tell them where to put it. Well, he was going to put it too high, and so you have to figure out a way to tell the doctor he's wrong without telling him he's wrong.
Without harming his ego?
Yeah, exactly. So I just said, hey, doc, what do you think of that placement? He said, it might be a little high. What do you think? I said, yeah, I'd say, what we say is 1.5 to 2 centimeters. He said, okay, thank you. So I just told this doctor what to do in the surgery and then turn.
And now a few words from our sponsors. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Sheehan & Sheehan Lawyers, located at 1215 South 4th Street, Suite A. They can be contacted at 217-544-0701. I'm talking Pat Sr., Pat Jr., and Willie. They can be contacted for adoption needs, agricultural law, business and commercial law, estate planning, real estate planning, taxation, traffic and minor traffic offenses, personal injury, wrongful death suits. And I grew up with Willie playing baseball on the Southwest Braves. We were state champs. He played high school baseball and soccer at SHG. Pat Jr. was an accomplished baseball player at SHG, SCI, and finally the U of I. We really appreciate the Sheehans here. Love this guy. Love this family. Great, great family. So go see these guys. Appreciate you. We are also brought to you by Sitco Chiropractic. They can be reached at 217-525-2035 and sitcochiropractic.com. They offer chiropractic care, corrective exercises, lifestyle advice, nutritional counseling, spinal and postural screenings. They are located at 205 North Grand Avenue. Love the Sitco family. From the dad, Steven, to Kyle and Casey, I grew up with them. Their brother Tyler was a big-time baseball player at SHG and SCI. There's a reason they have over 70 ratings on Google, and they're all 5.0. These guys are great. I went to them a few years back for some back issues I was having. They'll fix you right up. Go see Sitco Chiropractic. We are also brought to you by Primo Designs and that baseball family over there. They are located at 2417 North Grand Avenue. They can be reached at 217-523-6373. Since 1985, more than 5,000 businesses, schools, and healthcare providers have trusted Primo Designs to help them promote and build their brand. They're awesome with uniforms, tees, branded items. They have top quality, fast delivery, competitive prices, and like I already said, the Namovich name is an absolute baseball name in the community. Go support these guys. They've been doing uniforms since way back when I was in T-ball. Really have a lot of respect for them. I've done some projects with them and will continue to do so in the future. We appreciate you, Primo Designs.
Around Monday, I'm teaching hitting. So just kind of crazy. Kind of crazy that I got proficient enough at it to where doctors would ask me when you look at it, hey, what do you think when you look at an x-ray? Kind of crazy. Kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, I was glad to – it was a big weight off my shoulders when I was done with that.
To be done with that. Mm-hmm. Right, but then when did the I mean, now you have a path again, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're doing this. How did it become like, okay, I want to coach high school baseball. I want to be invested in these guys and help them grow as people and players again. Like, what made you be like, I'm sticking around and I'm doing this?
Yeah, I didn't answer your question, so sorry about that. I
got other things to talk about.
I would say the biggest thing was hitting with those guys in the summer, and it wasn't just Pawnee guys. It was guys from other schools.
Yeah.
But there was a core that I had started working with in 7th grade, and they were going to be seniors. Mm-hmm. So at first when I came home, I was going to be home for a month or two.
Right.
Well, then I was enjoying it moment to stay. I didn't find a job yet, and we had junior high baseball that year, and they were really good. It was a good group. They went to the state tournament. Mm-hmm. The moment that changed my career was we lost a game at the state tournament that we shouldn't have lost in junior high. And so it just made me look at, wow, I need to get better at this and this and this and this. And that's kind of what ignited it.
Okay.
And I'm now a much different coach than I was then, than I was this last spring.
Yeah.
And I think I always, I grew up watching Duke basketball. And they always have great body language.
Yeah.
And Coach K's big on that. And so I know how I want it to look. Well, I didn't realize that that's just being a good person and being neutral.
Yeah.
Not getting too high or too low. And so you have to teach that stuff. And I enjoy teaching kids that because not many people do teach that stuff.
Right.
And so then it becomes, okay, I love impacting these kids, and then ended up coaching with the spring, in the spring with my dad. It was a dream to do that.
Yeah.
Why would I not? I'm single. I'm doing fine financially.
Yeah.
I get the BSN job. I coach in the spring, and that was where, man, we got unfinished business, kind of. I can't leave on this note.
Right.
It was frustrating in the spring. People who knew me, it was frustrating because we didn't play the way that I would have wanted, and I didn't do as good of a job.
Yeah.
But it made me realize, okay, here's what it takes. This is what it takes to get to where we want to go. And at the end of the day, it's creating great people.
Yeah.
If you create great people and you behave like winners, you give yourself the best chance to win.
Ooh, behave like winners. I like that a lot. I've got a couple questions about managers, and then we're going to get into what I'm going to call the hitter's corner now. Okay. So when it's like it's all hitting. So what makes a great manager? What makes a bad manager? Just a couple things that might stand out to you.
I think great managers are okay admitting when they're wrong.
Interesting.
They're okay being vulnerable.
Yeah.
While also making hard decisions. But letting their coaches coach.
Yeah, I like that.
As far as bad ones, the opposite. Micromanager has to be his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say another one is a guy that freaks out in the dugout when things don't go well because, hey, man, high school kids aren't trying to make mistakes or college kids aren't trying to make mistakes.
Right, yeah. Well said.
Being the even keel guy.
Did you have any special, outside of your dad, did you have any special relationships with managers or coaches along the way?
My Uncle Rafe, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I would say my summer coaches, Clyde Aller and Phil Maton, I mean, they were really instrumental in helping me become a better person.
Mm-hmm.
The coaches at Memphis, I mean, Coach Rock gave me an opportunity. Coach Green was my hitting coach.
Yeah.
Still talk to him.
Mm-hmm. He
was great. But yeah, I'd say those.
Okay. As a player, what were your strengths and what were your weaknesses? If someone was doing a scouting report on you, what do you think it would have said?
Like trying to get me out, or just like scout, like a scout.
Just give me your rundown of how you saw yourself as a player, if you can.
Controlled the strike zone.
Yeah.
Walked more than he struck out.
Mm-hmm.
Good bat to ball skills.
Yeah.
Weaknesses would be bat speed. Didn't have good bat speed. Wasn't a good runner.
Yeah.
Didn't have a good arm.
You were like, you had to fight to kind of get below 760, didn't you? You were like,
correct.
Yeah.
You helped me with that. So I got below 7 because of you. So yeah. That's what I would say. Power's a weakness.
What about defensively?
Defensively, I was okay hand-wise.
Yeah.
Made a lot of throwing errors my senior year.
Did you?
At third base. That was also a little bit mental after a certain point.
Sure.
So, yeah, I would say that's decent.
Okay.
Scout report.
That works for me. We're to the fun part here, and I had so much fun talking with Ben. And as I keep doing these, I'm getting like deeper and like more intricate, I guess you could say, with some of these hitting questions. So, hitter's corner, you ready, my man?
Let's do it.
And this is just kind of how we talk to each other all the time. So this is just like normal stuff for us. Who do you think are the 5 greatest hitters of all time?
I looked at this question yesterday, and I thought, man, who's it going to be? I feel like I can't have a great opinion on old guys, so it's going to be a lot of new guys.
Sure.
Pujols.
Sure.
Bonds. Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah. Miggy. Yeah. Man.
Griffey.
Yeah.
I mean, throw Tony Gwynn in there.
Tony Gwynn.
If we're talking about pure hitters.
Yeah.
I still think, if we're talking about pure hitting, Joe Mauer is my guy.
You're a Twins guy.
I'm a Twins guy.
You grew up a Twins guy,
Love
right?
that guy.
I knew that. I knew you guys are like Minnesota all sports, right?
Yep.
What a beautiful, classic, quiet, repeatable swing he had, right?
Beautiful.
I mean, man.
Yeah.
Did you try to emulate that at all?
Not really. It was more of Matt Carpenter, honestly.
Really?
I thought
Interesting.
my game, obviously poor man's here.
Sure.
My game controlling the strike zone was similar to him.
Yeah.
I liked his swing.
Oh, I like that.
Obviously didn't get all of it right. I'm sitting here.
Who are 3 of your favorite all-time players? That has nothing to do with how they are as a hitter. It could be anybody.
Well, Mauer's one.
Yeah.
Say Justin Morneau, the Twins guy.
Oh, man, yeah. But his career really got derailed after those concussions, didn't it?
Yeah, so fun fact, he was hitting .345 with 18 home runs before the All-Star break, before the concussion.
Yeah.
It was never the same.
Never the same, man.
And then the last guy, ready for this one?
Yeah.
Luis Ariz.
Interesting.
Love that guy.
Yeah, just his swing, he bat the ball skills.
Yeah, doesn't have great bat speed, but man, he doesn't strike out, gets a lot of hits.
Love that.
Yep.
Were there any swings that you tried to emulate? And then I've got to follow up.
Say Carpenter.
Just Carpenter?
Yeah.
what do you think about guys trying to emulate? So I got in trouble. I've got theories about this. So I was very guilty of trying to emulate other people's swings coming up. There wasn't as much information as there was now about swings and understanding mechanics, so I thought, why don't I look at the best who are doing it and try to emulate this? But they don't have the same body styles, types, levers, quickness you have, all these different kind of things. So sometimes that doesn't work, and you're trying to copy someone's movements that aren't authentic to you. I do think something that could be advantageous, though, is if you are going to try to take things from a swing, look at someone that has maybe a similar body type to you or kind of moves similar to you in ways, if that makes sense. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think you hit it spot on.
Okay.
I do think you need to look at several of the best hitters and see what moves all of them have. And
they do a lot of the same things.
That's what I would look at.
At certain points in the swing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, certain checkpoints.
Yep. And I think one of the things that I love Cale Hennemann. Awesome dude. I play with him with the sliders.
Yeah,
love that
let's
guy.
Talk about him.
He puts out great stuff. I think if you focus on two things, if you focus on the launch position and you focus on the finish, if you get those two things right, usually the swing will figure itself out along the way.
And when you're saying launch, you're saying the position right before you
right before they swing.
Right.
And if you look at all the good hitters, they all do the same thing.
It's exactly.
Doesn't matter how they start.
Yeah. Bobby Tewksbury calls it the truth position because everyone gets to it. It looks the exact same. Doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Jose Bautista or Rice. They all look pretty much the same at that checkpoint. And so the second part was what the finish.
The finish.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
So if you look at high-level hitters, there's two finishes. There's the recoil finish with two hands, so they swing through and their bat almost comes back.
Yeah.
Or there's bat drop, so think like Ken Griffey or Mark McGwire or Fernando Tatis.
Okay.
Recoil would be like Mike Trout is one.
Okay.
I think Ohtani might be. But it just depends on the guy. And with our guys, with the guys I work with, it's figuring out what's best for their body. What gets their hips to decelerate the best? Is it the one-hand finish or is it the two-hand recoil?
Yeah.
And it just depends on the guy. And some guys –
Right, at a certain point, you have to stop rotating.
Correct.
Yeah.
The hips need to come back. They go, and then they got to come back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the deceleration term that a lot of people don't understand. So let's just hit that right now. Tell me a little bit about deceleration. It's a term in hitting that has become more popular recently within the past however many years. 108 Performance is doing a lot of stuff with that.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they're incredible.
They're great.
They're really sciencey and kinesiology stuff. Yeah. Can you explain that to us, if you could? Yeah,
I would say if you look at a K-vest, which that'd be high level, but if you're looking at a K-vest, which is going to tell you, do you know what K-vest is?
Say it again.
K-vest.
I don't.
So it's a vest you put on. They probably have way newer technology now. Basically, it shows your kinematic sequence.
Okay.
But for your torso to speed up, your hips have to stop.
You're right. Yeah.
And then for your arms to speed up or your back to speed up, your torso's got to stop.
They accelerate and decelerate in sections.
Correct.
Right.
Yep. And so if our hips just keep going, if I'm a right-handed hitter and they just keep going to left field, well, the barrel's going to drag through the zone.
Yeah.
Same thing with your torso. If your torso keeps going, the bat's going to drag.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you should see, if you look at someone's belt buckle, I'd say the best way to describe it is their hips, if you're right-handed, their hips are going to go towards left field, and then they're going to stop and kick back at a certain spot if your body is working correctly.
Yeah.
And so it's all about figuring out what movement or what pattern gets the player to show that.
Yeah.
It's not me, hey, you need to have a leg kick. Hey, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Some guys, there's a kid right now that I'm working with, has got to keep his back foot almost anchored to get that pattern to work.
Really?
And we'll work off of that. But you look at Jim Tomey, it's kind of a similar swing.
Okay. Yeah.
He has enough mobility in his upper half, and I don't know, see, I'm not super like physical therapist guy, but he has enough mobility to where he can rotate and keep his back foot almost planted.
Yeah.
But it actually is better than when he does his leg kick.
Interesting.
Because his hips will shift his swing.
How are you training decels? Or do you even think about it? Or is this the water bag stuff?
Water bag stuff's amazing for it. Yeah.
Talk about that. You guys got those within the last, not that long ago, right?
I would say within this past summer.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Tell me about the water bags and how you use
Game changer.
The decels.
Game changer. I think they're amazing for so many feels. We actually there's a mini one that I just started using for different feels as well. I mean, I'm using it for catching. Yeah, you can just apply it in so many different ways. I think a common mistake is it's going to be hard when no one's looking at us. But,
I know. We're doing our best. Yeah.
Your shoulders are going – your front shoulder is going to go up. It has to.
It does.
But is it going up and out of the zone, or are your shoulders going into the ball?
Ooh.
And so that's a 108 thing that I heard. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
So I've explained to our guys, and so what you can use with the water bag is you have them hold it almost like a front squat position and get them to stick the position that you want with the correct posture. Usually it cleans up a lot.
Yeah.
So that, another great one for, this is not water bag, but for working on decel is either swing backs, where you swing and swing the bat back.
Yeah.
Or rapid fire, where you'll throw 3 or 4 pitches in a row, and they got to get the bat back.
To get back.
Yep. So one, it's making you be quick and efficient, and then number 2, you're having to decelerate really quickly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, water bags. Usually, I'll have them do a warm up to get their body going, and I have a bunch of different stuff that we can do, and then I'll kind of try to tailor it to their swing. Is it a guy that needs to think chest, kind of like Ben said? Does he need to think like chest on top of the ball or over the ball?
Right.
Or is it a guy like my brother who needs to think behind it, and he actually needs to think lean back?
Yeah.
And so you're just trying to figure out what each player needs and applying it that way.
Oh, man, that is an incredible explanation of that. And those are hard things to describe as well. So we got more stuff that I'm going to get into in terms of vernacular with hitting.
Fired up right now.
I don't want to skip ahead, but it's coming in it. Top 5 favorite swings of all time. Oh, wait. I asked you the greatest hitters, your favorite swings. If it's just the swing.
Mauer.
Yeah.
Mauer, Barry Bonds. I mean, I'm trying to think, just swings. You know who else I miss? It's, again, if we're looking at greatest hitters, Ichiro has got to be in there too. It just gets hits, man.
Yeah.
Wade Boggs.
Wade Boggs. Great one there.
Know?
Yeah.
Yeah, swing, that's a great question. I don't have a great answer for you on that one.
Okay.
The one guy is Mauer.
Okay. Tell me about how have your thoughts on the swing changed from high school till now? Like, what were you thinking in high school? You know, obviously you went different levels.
I think I was just see the ball and hit it. I think I thought a flat swing was good.
Yeah.
Where you want to be really flat through the zone. Well, that's really not what you want to do.
No. What do you want to do? Just for the listeners out there.
Vertical bat angle is important. Yeah. So this is hard to explain. If you have the barrel parallel to the ground, that would be 0.
Right.
Vertical bat angle.
Yeah.
As the bat goes with the barrel tip toward the ground, it would be negative vertical bat angle. Yeah. And the guys with the most vertical bat angle actually pop the ball up less because they're not missing the ball with a flat path and just clipping it and popping it up. Like Joey Votto, big vertical bat angle guy.
Yeah.
I think he hit like 1 pop-up in the infield in like 10 years.
That's right. It was a crazy stat like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, the higher the pitches, the flatter your path's going to be. Yeah. The lower the pitches, the more vertical your bat's going to be.
Were you thinking at all about that path? I mean, this was a long time ago, so these weren't concepts that were even out there. No?
No, and I didn't really look at video that much either.
Right, yeah.
It was really just approach and I'm better than you kind of thing is how I'm gonna beat you. That's really what it was.
Do you have any hitting absolutes that are like, this is you know what I'm talking about? From what I think I know about you, though, you're pretty fluid and open to concepts and like that every hitter has got their own things.
Yeah, definitely not cookie cutter. I think, again, just starting at what's your setup, not setup, what's your launch position and what's your finish?
Yeah.
If those two things are good, I think get those things good.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. And everyone needs something different.
Yeah.
You know, I hit with 8 guys today, and no one's the same. They're all different.
Yeah.
Some kids need to throw the bat to think about being through the zone longer. Some kids need to think get out of the zone. It just depends. Uh-huh. So it's hard. I didn't give you a very good answer there, but yeah.
No, you're totally fine. So you said in high school you were just see the ball, hit the ball. Were you thinking fastball?
I was thinking fastball. I love hitting fastballs.
What about college? Were you thinking at all location or
just be on the fastball?
How would you adjust then?
So I never was great at seeing a hanger and hitting it. I'd usually take it.
Yeah.
With 2 strikes, I was really good because I knew what they were going to throw.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, for example, and I don't know if this approach works for other people, but what I would do is, say the guy's throwing 95. I would look fastball away, but I would have in the back of my mind, like, okay, he might throw a breaking ball in the dirt here.
Yeah.
So I was able to pick up the breaking ball while still flicking my wrist and fouling a fastball off if I got it. That's what I would kind of do.
Okay.
Because I watched the game enough to know he's probably throwing me this. I watched the guys that are similar to me. Or something I did a lot was they throw me a changeup 0-0 and I'd swing through it.
Okay.
Well, good, because I don't want to hit it in play.
Right.
But I'm not swinging a miss at it again because I'm going to see it this next time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just really being educated of what they're going to throw you. When people say, oh, you can't sit pitches, well, everyone in the major leagues, you have to. You can't hit 180 at the same time.
You can't cover the whole plate either at the same time. What would it be now then? Obviously, you have more knowledge now, more working knowledge of the swing philosophy. If you were put back into baseball now playing, what do you think your approach would be, or would it be any different?
I would say just look. That's what I did when I played. Just look in the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and someone's told me this a few years ago. If you look inner half or outer half, either one, inner half would be done, by the way, because they're going to throw you the majority away.
Right. Agreed.
But if you look away, you're more susceptible to chasing farther away.
Interesting.
Whereas if you look at the middle of the plate, if you chase, you're going to be chasing strikes.
Ooh, I like that.
So look at the middle of the plate. And if you look at a major league heat map, the red's in the middle.
Right.
No one's saying you have to hit the 7 at the knees for a home run.
Right.
Hit the pitches that you get, they're in the middle of the plate.
Ooh, man, that's gold there. What are some mistakes you made with your swing?
I mean, I think we already covered it the senior year. Just going leg kick.
Yeah.
I think was the big thing.
Okay. Were there any other, like, when you got funky, what were some things? Did you get pushy ever, or what were anything else in your swing?
So when I was not going well, I would hit too many fly balls.
Okay.
And I would barrel them, but I didn't have pop, so they'd be flyouts to medium deep center field or right field.
Right.
What changed for me when I had my best year at Memphis was in BP, instead of hitting those balls that are in the gaps in BP, in the game, those are flyouts. So what I changed was in the BP, I'm going to hit balls low. I'm going to hit balls knee high on front toss. Nothing's higher than the knees. And then in BP, nothing higher than the shortstop's head.
How do you make sure you do that?
I thought just get on top of the ball.
Yeah.
Just get on top of it.
Like literally thinking like drive down through it, even though that's not like an actual.
I think I was more so focused on where I'm hitting on the ball.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Okay.
But I think maybe like get on top of it, almost chop down.
Yeah.
And then what happened was that's when I went from, I think I finished the year really well because my misses now were in doubles or were in the gas for doubles.
Yeah.
Versus your misses being outs.
Oh.
Because no one cares if they're barreled and they're in the outfielder's glove.
Right. Well said.
If I had great power, then they'd be gone, but I didn't.
Well said. What are some of the worst cues that you ever got, or worst hitting advice you ever got? Or even not even you. Let's just say, what's some of the worst advice you hear about? Some worst cues you hear about people, about swings, teaching.
I think it's hard, and we've had this conversation. I think any cue can be good for a certain guy.
That's right. I totally agree with that.
So Blake and I had an argument like a few months ago
about
swinging down.
You know what? I concede your point. I think I saw your point to it. Like some guys do actually need to think because they might be guys that miss underneath. They have a swing that's already naturally kind of lifted.
Yeah.
And they might need to think.
Yeah.
Get on top to correct that. Yeah. For sure. Sorry to take words out of your mouth.
No, you're good. No, exactly. You're right. And I would have never said that 3 years ago, but if a kid is long and slow underneath, then we gotta like over exaggerate.
Right.
The biggest analogy I use is if you are shooting a basketball and you keep missing free throws short, where are you gonna aim? You're gonna try to miss long.
Right.
It's the same thing with hitting.
Yeah.
I do think it's important though, where I just saw this with Trey, but one of my hitters today hit a top spin ground ball to shortstop, and I had a blast on, and so I said, okay, how do we fix that? He said, "Oh, swing underneath it." Well, actually, no, because his attack angle was too high. It was like 17. We want to be in the 6 to 12 range. Mm-hmm. So the reason he hit a ground ball was he clipped the top of the ball on the way up. So if you tell him to swing up more, we're going to be even worse.
Right. Yeah.
So I think understanding why ground balls happen or why fly balls happen.
Right.
So, yeah, another not good answer because I didn't give you any cues.
No, it was a great answer.
But yeah,
it's fine. It's all good, buddy. So this is something that I do believe in, and most of my hitting stuff is all theoretical because it's like I research and look at it and read it, but I've only given very few amounts of actual hitting lessons and passed it on yet. But I'm going to be coming out to Pawnee here, something I do believe in is I think every hitter can benefit from. I think the goal should be get the ball in the air to the outfield. I'm not saying, sky high, moon scrapers, but I think even the slappiest of a slappy hitter can benefit from getting the ball in the air to the outfield. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you're telling your guys at Pawnee? Like, we need to get the ball in the air to the outfield, or are you less focused on the outcome and more the actual mechanics of it, or what?
I think guys are probably annoyed at this, but I think miss low is great.
Okay.
And I know it worked for me, so it's not – I'm not doing it because it worked for me, but most guys, 90% of guys, their miss is underneath the ball.
Yeah.
And so if they miss low, now their misses are home runs instead of the misses being outs.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are some guys that you need to think miss high.
Right.
But I would say the majority is miss low, and that's going to get you into the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hit it to the pitcher's head.
Right. Okay.
That's the biggest thing. But yes, to the outfield.
Okay. Tell me about the importance of getting your barrel on plane in the zone early.
Big time. Important.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did a study in the Cape Cod League. This is when I was coaching at Belmont. So they had a blast sensor on every kid's bat.
Mm-hmm. And
the leader in average and a lot of the stats, the best guys, the metric they were best at across the board was on-plane efficiency. And so that basically measures how long you're in the zone.
Yeah. You want to be in the zone as long as you can.
Correct.
That's the goal.
Yep. And so that's the number one thing. And I think when you're working with hitters and especially high school guys, maybe you don't have a whole lot of time, it's what's the lowest hanging fruit here.
Yeah.
And so usually it's the path. Sometimes if you have more time, maybe it's the lower half, and maybe that'll clean up the upper half.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of depends. But, yeah, path is extremely important because I was showing a kid today. I had my brother in there hitting. He came back, which was great. Mm-hmm. And Blast will give you a 3D version of the swing. And so Connor's was he was in the zone for so long. And then I had this high school kid where it was in and out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, look at this. I said, Connor can hit a ball to right field if he's late, hit a ball to middle if he's on time perfectly,
huge.
And then to
the
left field.
adjustability is so huge.
Yep, not just margin for error.
Yeah, margin for error. So, like, if you have a swing that you're in and out of the zone, you have such a small window to hit that ball, right? Versus
Correct.
your timing has to be perfect.
Yep.
Versus if you're on plane early and deep, you have so much time, you could be a little bit off. And like you just said, you can hit it to right or center or left. Just have time.
Well, let me ask you this. How many times, let's say you have 100 at-bats in a high school season, how many times are you perfectly on time?
Oh, God. I bet it's a pretty low amount.
Yeah.
Right.
12?
You're right, yeah.
So I know time is important, and that's one of my things is when they get back to the dugout is, did I swing a good pitch?
Yeah.
Was I on time? Because if those things were not good, then we need to probably look at those first.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to hit off time.
Yeah. Because
if you get 12 hits out of 100, you're hitting 120.
Right.
So you got to be able to hit off time. And that's looking ugly sometimes.
Love that. Tell me about creating early bat speed. Can you just comment on what you think it is or your thoughts on it?
I think it's just exactly what you said, is getting in the zone early.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm shouting out blast here, but again, there's a metric on there called rotational acceleration, and it measures that, how quickly you get up to speed.
Yeah.
So guys who have really good rotational acceleration, it's the car analogy. So if you got a Honda Civic and a Ferrari, they both can go 60.
Right.
But which one's getting there faster? It's the Ferrari, right?
Of course.
So you want to have the Ferrari to get up to speed quick, because if you don't, your bat speed's out in front.
Right.
And you have to make swing decisions earlier. Whereas if you're quick, you can wait longer before you make a decision.
Giving yourself time.
Because you have more in the tank. Not more in the tank, but you're quicker to be able to get the barrel up to speed. So, yes, extremely important.
What creates late bat speed?
That's a good question. I would say poor deceleration.
I mean, pushy guys have late.
Yeah,
bat speed.
pushy. Yep, that's a good one.
They only have it at the very end.
That's a good one.
Speaking as a guy that was pushy at times myself.
That's a really good one. Yeah, pushy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think so. That same study, rotational acceleration was the second most important behind on plane.
Okay. This is going to be fun for me. And you've already mentioned Trey, but tell me about some of your favorite hitting coaches and who you think is worth following.
Yeah, Trey for sure.
Trey. Just give us a little more about Trey. Like Trey, you guys play together? You know each other?
Yeah, we played together with the sliders. Really hard worker, and he was always working on his swing.
He's up in like the Quad Cities
area, Milan, Illinois.
He's working with like big leaguers and stuff. Like he's a sought after hitting coach.
Oh, he's a dude.
He's absolutely amazing on Instagram. Go check him out too.
Great communicator. Yeah. So my brother's hit with him a few times, and I'll go up there and I'll stand close so I can hear.
Right.
And he has so many different ways to say things because his thing is, if you know it but you can't communicate it, then it's going to be hard, and you might need a cue differently than I do.
Yeah.
So the way he communicates is great. He has so many different tools to get you there, and the bandwidth for him to be able to do that, he'll have 3 hitters at once, and we'll go back and forth in an hour and a half, and the bandwidth to do that is...
Yeah, right. The mental capacity to do that.
I think big caffeine guy, but, dude, it's impressive.
He's
really impressive.
Yeah. Anyone else that you really like?
108. Love the 108 guys.
Yes. They're incredible.
My brother, Cade, honestly. He's amazing. I'll send him a swing, and he's an engineer, so he's got kind of that type of brain. And so he'll tell me, hey, here's what I see, and then I can figure out the plan. Or I'll say, here's what I think I would do. What would you do? Yeah. He's been awesome. And he has pushed me to look at things differently, to look at things deeper from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah.
So he's been awesome. I sent him a video of the kid today about the hip recoil, and then he said, "Oh, hey, what about this?" Yeah. And then Connor too. I'll send it. We have a group chat. I'll send swings, and I'm so lucky to have those two to talk to about hitting. They're big time. They help me out.
And shout out to Cade too. I love your younger brother. He had a really cool baseball career too. I actually want to have him on because he went from like Lincoln Land, didn't play a lot, right?
Yep.
And then to IC,
correct? Yep.
Played,
yep,
pretty well, and then somehow kind of ended up at Memphis. You know, it was like where they kind of need like a bullpenny third catcher guy.
Yeah,
and he ended up playing a little bit. Like he got some ABs.
It was really cool. So, well, first of all, he went to an NCAA tournament at Illinois College.
Yeah,
and he was a big part of that. And then, went to Memphis, and they needed a bullpen catcher, but they said, well, actually, we need a fourth catcher, and if you're good enough, you can play.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't play at all the first year,
right? But
he had another year, so he stayed. And coolest thing ever was he worked his butt off.
Absolute grinder.
Yeah,
similar
grinder
to you. Yeah.
He would tell you he overthought his swing a little too much. Really smart dude.
Right. Yeah.
But it was always in the cage, and same thing with catching. Well, he started a game against Oral Roberts, who went to the World Series that year, and so that was really cool. He threw a guy out first inning. Threw a guy out trying to steal.
Yeah.
He got a pinch hit single to make it a 1-run game in a game earlier. But really, really cool. Like he earned that
baseball journey for sure.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Knowing what you know about your swing now, I'm not going to ask you what you did, but if you were still hitting right now, what drills and feels do you think you would gravitate towards?
It's a good question. I would say, like I told you earlier, I think you train and just maximize what you're great at. Mm-hmm. So I would say a lot of random rounds off the machine, working on swing decisions, bat speed stuff, just to get me to move faster.
Yeah,
I've been going more towards. There's a billion drills you can do. I'm more towards let's keep it kind of simple. There's a few core drills that I like for different reasons.
Yeah,
but I'd say keep it pretty simple. I don't know. There's so many different tools.
Sure, it's too broad of a question.
I think. Again, just being great in the cage at taking balls and swinging at strikes.
Ooh, I like that. If you were, tell me about what is an ideal tee routine? How would you set it up for yourself?
I would say.
Ben said he doesn't even use the tee.
I don't hit it off. I didn't hit off tee a whole lot.
Did not.
I don't have.
Not a big tee fan.
I would hit off a little bit. I use it with some guys, and some guys I don't. I think it depends on the swing.
Why?
So I take video guys when they hit off tee. And if their swing off a tee is pushy, then I will bang it.
Why is that? You like it further?
I think pushes? It just creates bad habits. Okay. So there's a kid that, there's a few kids, but there's one kid I'm thinking about.
Ingrains those.
One of my hitters where we don't ever hit off a tee because of the movements. The movements aren't good. So what we'll do is we'll have him do self-toss.
Yeah.
Where he tosses it to himself, and this kid also had a longer swing, so it's giving him a time constraint to hit.
Yeah.
You can be long and slow off a tee. You're can't
right.
when you toss it to yourself.
You're right, yeah.
So I would say
that's interesting.
I would just say barrel control off tee, though. Can we hit balls to your opposite side infielder? Not because I want you to do that in a game,
right?
But I want you to be able to do it. That tells me you can control your barrel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, this is...
But like you said, everyone's different. Maybe you stink at pulling the ball, so maybe you need to set it out in front and work on getting after it. I don't know.
Yeah, well said. Tell me about the importance of technology in hitting today. I'm talking, hit tracks, blasts, Rapsodo. What would be the ideal setup for you guys if money was no option?
Oh, I think video is the thing you got. I didn't use a whole lot of video when I play, which is crazy.
Yeah,
iPhone's been amazing.
Yeah,
I will stand in. So I'll do lessons with 2 guys at a time, and they can feed each other, and that way I can stand. I'll actually stand in the cage, which is kind of crazy, but I'll stand in the cage in video.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at video in between rounds instead of having to put it on a tripod, which I did for a long time, and having to go over there, take it off, show them. I can be in there with them. Hey, here's what I see. Hey, that was really good. Hey, here's what we need to work on.
Yeah, right there.
So that's really good. Blast, obviously, I use.
Yeah.
I think it's great because it can confirm or tell you that you're wrong. So, like if a kid was getting out of the zone too early, well, his attack angle was too high. Yeah. So that confirms, okay, we're on the right track here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's really important. Ideally, I would say we had a Rapsodo or something to see ball flight.
Yeah.
But I think Blast is great.
Do you like hit tracks?
I think it's solid. I just think I wouldn't spend that much money.
It looks fun, if nothing else.
It looks fun. I would spend a quarter of the money and get a Rapsodo because it gives you what you need. It gives you the ball flight, the spin of the ball, the exit velo, all that stuff. I mean, Trey's setup up there is unbelievable. We're going back to Trey Hennemann.
What does he have going on?
So he's got 4 screens. He's got a screen top left, which is a video of them swinging, but it's on like 3-second delay. Maybe it's 5 seconds. So they can take a swing, look at it, and look at their swing. Ugh. The one below is also on them, but it's a video where he can slow it down, draw on it, or write on it, whatever he wants to show you. Slow stuff down.
Yeah.
Then you got bottom right is blast metrics, and then top right is ball flight with Rapsodo.
Man.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, he's got...
It's pretty special when it comes to hitting, isn't it?
It's great. Yep.
Right.
So, but yeah, if we just had a Rapsodo and blast sensor, man, I'm good to go. I don't need any more than that.
Oh, I don't know why I missed that. That's a great answer. Tell me about Teacher Man. Your thoughts on Teacher Man before we get. So Teacher Man, let me lead you. We've talked about him a little bit on the podcast. This guy that kind of essentially tried to figure out what the perfect swing and understanding mechanics. It was originally for his son, and then he ended up somehow getting hooked up with like professional baseball players. He has some very unique thoughts on it, and he is an absolute jerk to a lot of people. Really mean and like just vicious on like hitting boards and on social media, and he's very kind of hated within the hitting community. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Teacher Man.
Yeah, I think he's got some stuff that helps. For example, I think he's good about talking about getting in the back hip. I think he's good about that.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
I think swinging one-legged is huge. If you watch high-level hitters, they don't shift their weight then swing. They swing their foot down.
Yeah.
Or it's one move.
Yeah.
Because at the highest level, with how nasty this stuff is these days, you better have one movement. If you got to time up 2, you're going to be toast.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. I just think his head positioning when he teaches it is nothing like any of the good hitters.
Interesting.
It's back on his back shoulder.
Yeah.
And so it just causes to have there's no adjustability in there. And so his whole thing is you're ready to snap the barrel when the ball gets in your zone.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if you're fooled? That's great if you're on time for a fastball or if you see the breaking ball out of the hand. But let's look at Aaron Judge in the postseason.
Yeah.
He didn't see the ball very well. Yeah. Okay, and so when you run out of barrel because you don't have adjustability, that's what happens. People probably kill me for what I'm saying here, but that's he got exposed. Yeah. Wasn't seeing the ball well. Well, there's no adjustability in there.
Well said.
So I wouldn't ever build a swing around Judges. I know he has success over 162 games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think there's enough adjustability in that. You have to be able to get hits ugly.
Yeah.
And I don't think his way doesn't allow you to do that.
Doesn't allow for ugly hits.
Yeah, it's like, we got him. No, just wait till it's in your zone. Well, you're not going to swing at good pitches all the time. You're just not.
Well said. So, man, that's great. And he's got this long-standing battle with this former major leaguer named Jeff Fry.
Oh, dude.
It's ridiculous. They go back and forth, and they're just brutal to each other.
Yeah.
And I will say, I do not agree with anything Jeff Fry says. I think that guy is a first-class jerk.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep.
But, yeah. All right. Tell me about when you first realized the barrel works rearward. I remember the moment, like, I was, like, reading it in an article, and I was, like, my head was, like, it was, like, cognitive dissonance. It went against everything I had ever thought I knew, and then you, like, start looking at video, and you're like, oh, the first thing to blur is the barrel, and it's going backwards. It's going towards the catcher. Do you remember that moment, or?
Yep.
Tell me.
It's my guy. Teacher Man.
Teacher Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Teacher Man helped me a lot into figure out.
He's got some good stuff,
He does.
man.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the head positioning, what's that position you called it? The launch position. The
truth?
The truth position.
Yeah.
No one's head is back here. It's,
right.
It's on their front shoulder.
Yeah. Well said.
So, but yeah, I would say that's the moment. And then you start looking at, like, Matt Carpenter, trying to get the barrel to work backwards like him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I remember that. And that's where I was working. Did a lot of offset drills that year where you're offset from the plate and you're kind of getting into your back hip and then trying to swing deep and get the barrel to work behind you, swing away from your body.
Do you think it could be a good – for someone that's trying to, get the feel of that rearward, do you think it's, like, advantageous to just, like, that snap that Teacher Man talks about, or just feeling the hand working backwards, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's helpful for some guys, and I actually called it a snap even last summer. We would use a PVC because there's a kid that I've sent you where I couldn't figure out how to get his elbow or he gets so constricted with his elbows. We're trying to get his hand to work backwards.
I mean, you can call that turning the barrel, too.
Yeah, I don't call it snap anymore. I call it it's just pivoting your hand. That's all it is.
Pivot point.
Pivot your hand and just kind of turn it.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
So I don't call it snap, but I mean, you could if you wanted to. Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason he's so hated, too, is that he has all this vernacular that nobody's ever heard before. And it's like usually lifers of baseball aren't wanting to hear new phrases and terminology, right?
Yep.
Resistant.
Yep.
Okay. Tell me best ways to develop raw bat speed.
The weight room's number one.
Yeah.
And then swing stuff fast, man.
Yeah.
I think just mixing up what you're swinging, swing lighter bats, swing heavier bats.
Contrast stuff.
Because one, you're gonna be able to barrel balls with different stuff. That's gonna help your hand-eye. And then number two, you're swinging stuff fast. That's gonna get your body to swing faster. And then I think swinging golf clubs fast helps.
Really?
Yeah, swing golf clubs fast because rotation from golf is going to translate to rotation in baseball. It's the same thing. You're just swinging it differently.
A lot of similar movements there for sure.
So I think that's huge. And with that, you don't have to worry about getting long in your swing. I don't care how you swing a golf club.
Yeah.
But if you rotate fast, and then you're building your, as some would call it, Trey would call it, building the engine.
Yeah.
And to then translate to baseball.
And you and Trey, like, talk, right? Go back and forth some?
Some. I mean, he's busy, man. Yeah. He's so busy. So sometimes I actually sent him a text today about something.
Yeah.
But he'll get back to me every once in a while.
Would you ever go up there to, like, increase some of your knowledge if it's something you've ever thought about doing?
Yeah, I definitely would. I just don't know the feasibility of that. I also don't want to overstep here. Yeah. At the end of the day, he's trying to make hitters better, and I don't want to be unprofessional or get in the way.
Yeah. So. What are I know you got a whole shed full of tools out there at Pawnee now. What are some of your favorite tools that you're using with hitters now?
Water bags, med balls. That's another way for bat speed, by the way. Med balls. I think those are big.
Sure.
Different bats, just to get them to swing stuff fast.
You got like the insider bat, don't you? Or
I have one. I don't use it as much anymore.
Okay.
And I've gone more away from.
You used to use that a lot, didn't you?
We used to.
Yeah.
We used to. I used to go tee, front toss, machine. Now, some guys need tee. We'll go tee then machine, or maybe we'll go right to darts and then machine. Or sometimes they'll do their movement prep with a PVC pipe, and we'll go straight to the machine. Because at the end of the day, unless we're working on something where you really got to change it, let's hit a ball that's moving.
Yeah.
Off a machine, and the machine can be more consistent. I like doing what's called short machine. So I would say 35, 40 feet away, not crazy velo.
Yeah.
But just, one, you're getting kids more confident off a machine. There's a stigma, not anymore in our program because we crushed that thing, but it used to be, we got to hit off a machine. Well, now they know we're going to hit it, so we might as well be good at it.
Yeah.
But it gives kids some success early. Where I'll have kids just stand there with their feet together and just work on barreling balls off the machine. It's nice and easy.
Okay.
But it's also a time constraint to where they have to be quick.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite drills that you're using with hitters these days? I guess, unless you'd already covered that.
Love the offset drill. I think there's so many things that can be good for.
When you say that, you're talking about like 45 degrees?
45-degree offset.
It forces you to get in your hip, or why do you like that so much?
It could be forcing to get in your hip. It could be to work on being one-legged. To not transfer your weight, because if you transfer your weight towards first base, if you're left-handed, if you transfer your weight towards first base, you can't hit the ball over here.
Right.
Swinging deep. If a guy is super tight to his body with his elbow, swinging away from his body, you really can do a lot of things with that drill.
Yeah.
And it works on path.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think other drills. We have a towel bat, which I love.
Why?
For kids that need to feel the whip behind the barrel depth, to feel the whip behind them.
Yeah.
Kids love feeling that.
How are you getting a guy to feel the barrel moving rearward if they don't have it like sometimes young athletes don't have a feel kinesthetically. And now a few words from our sponsors. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Milner Dentistry, located at 755 South Grand Avenue West. They can be reached at 217-528-3384. Dr. Ty and his staff are incredible. The place is clean. They do amazing work. They can handle all your dentistry needs. Thanks again to Dr. Ty for agreeing to sponsor us here. He was a standout at Rochester SCI and then later had a really cool story of walking on at the U of I. Have a ton of respect for this guy. Please go support Dr. Ty and Milner Dentistry. We are also brought to you by Hammers Radon Mitigation Solutions. You can reach them at 217-670-4292, hammersradon@gmail.com, or head on over to their website, hammersradonmitigation.com. They do exactly what you need. This is everything radon that you can think of. This is Les Hammers. This is a Springfield firefighter, a former standout football player at Jacksonville, Truman State, and then played a little pro ball, a little arena ball himself. Since opening, Hammers Radon Mitigation Solutions have become masters of their craft. Their commitment to quality mitigation, exceptional services, and incomparable customer care keep our homeowners safe. They never stop improving and will continue to expand their offerings. Get in touch with Les today. You will not be disappointed. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Les. This episode is being brought to you by Eric Easley of the Easley Real Estate Team with the Real Estate Group. This team consists of Eric, Jamie Murphy, and Caitlin Fry. They can be reached at 217-971-3256 or at theeasleysalesteam.com. Eric was a standout quarterback and shortstop at Southeast back in the mid-90s and later starred at Western Illinois in baseball. Also one of the best umpires around this area for many years, teaming up with Bobby Erickson. He sold houses for all kinds of baseball dudes in the area. The Knadler brothers, Justin and Jason, Ryan Murphy, Todd Schneller, the Savota family. And when it was time for Corey to sell his house and buy his new house, there's only one place he went. That's Eric Easley and the Easley Real Estate Team. So go see these guys for all your real estate needs. We really appreciate you. How they're moving. Like, how do you get that feel?
I think you start showing video, and then to actually feel it. We have a kid right now working on this. Honestly, I put a band on his barrel and kind of pulled it away, get in his stance and pull it away from him so he feels what it's going to do.
Oh, that's cool.
And this kid is good enough. He's a good enough player to where he can think about it, and then it was better. It was better immediately when I said, hey, think about swinging deep.
Yeah.
So with the towel bat, we did offset, swing as deep as possible, feel that whip.
Yeah.
Then we went to his regular stance. Hey, feel it deep. Hit my hand. I put my hand where the catcher would be. Hit my hand.
I like that.
And then we went to offset to feel the barrel depth, and then regular. All of that. Try to think other – but, yeah, I mean,
that's good.
That's where I would start if a guy was struggling to feel the bat behind him.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
What do you do?
How would I do that?
Yeah. What else would you add?
I like the idea of just feeling the teacher man snap of just like getting that feel of like the barrel working rearward, just like an easy feel for me. Like I said, a lot of my stuff is theoretical. I'm not working with when I worked with a couple guys a couple winters ago, they had pretty good swings already. So it was more like cleaning things up, and they already had some rearward movements. So
gotcha.
I'm going to be learning from you, buddy.
I'm learning from you.
I think you've already talked about the importance of using video. Do you have anything more to add there?
I think buy a tripod would be a great investment for you.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Some fun stuff here. We've talked about some of these things. Some of the modern day terminologies. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on some of these. Do you have any thoughts? Like, I'm talking posture, tilt. I already said snapping, turning the barrel, coiling, scissor kicking, deceleration. We've already talked about deceleration. Do you have any thoughts? We've talked quite a bit on scissor kicking. Let's talk about it right now. Do you have any thoughts?
I think it goes back to getting them to stay in their back heel as long as possible before they swing, but then letting the body do what's natural. I think Teacher Man's right in the fact you can't force the scissor kick.
Right.
I think you can tell yourself to keep the heel down longer.
Yeah.
And then that's going to result in whatever happens. So some guys will end up with their foot towards the pitcher.
Yeah.
Some guys will kind of kick backwards with the scissor. Some feet will come off the ground.
Right.
I think my brother Cade was a big guy to help me see how the back leg should work.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I heard Lance Berkman say this, your body's like the train tracks and your bat is the train. So if your body and your knee is going to spin to left field as a right-handed hitter, then your barrel's going to have to go with it.
Yeah.
So I think the direction you should, I don't know how to say this simply, your knee shouldn't spin. Usually what happens when you spin is you get up on your toe and you're not in your heel. So one, you're losing power and your direction is not going to be as good.
Yeah.
But I think scissoring can be good for guys. I think the farm board, I think, will be good for some guys.
Yes, we've had this discussion. So there's a hitting coach out there, Joey Kuna. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Something like that? Kuna. But he's like, his whole thing is the farm board, the farm system. He's huge, and he's a real like deep science, kinesiology guy. But he has these boards where it forces you to scissor kick, essentially. It's like this unstable plastic sheet, essentially, that you swing on, and it forces you to kind of scissor kick because you are creating that movement. There is like a tearing almost movement of your front leg and your back leg, like ripping against each other in a way. It's hard to, we're looking at each other, so we know what we're saying, but there is how you apply force to the ground and use your legs. I think there's something there. I've never actually used it per se, but I think it's interesting. So I brought him this board, so he's going to play with it a little bit. I think if nothing else, it could be used as a warm-up tool to feel your legs, getting that feel of like that cross-sectional stuff. What you got?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Before you leave tonight, I want to look at a kid that I think that might be good for.
Okay.
And see what you think.
Okay.
So don't forget that.
Yeah, cool, man. So I'm excited for you to. I had this thing for like over a year. I finally brought it to him, so he's going to give it a little whirl. Tell me about coiling.
Just a term for getting in your back hip.
Yeah.
I think there's different ways to teach it. I would say the most common way that I do it is tell them to take their back butt cheek if you're right-handed to the shortstop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Show the numbers to the pitcher.
Yep.
You can grab onto a fence post and kind of feel yourself sitting in a chair. It just kind of depends on what they need.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just another term for that.
What do you ever address posture with hitters?
Yes, big time. Yeah.
How do you address it?
Water bags are huge for that.
Tell me about that.
Because with the water bag, you're going to feel if you like fly off, one, the water's not going to slam because you're not decelerating.
Yeah.
To throw that term back out there.
Right. So you have to do it in sequence correct for the water to do what it's supposed to do. So that's a great teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. And then instead of having them kind of recoil and slam the water back, I'll just have them stick it.
Yeah.
Because again, you're not going to be able to stick it if you go away from the plate.
Right.
So I have the same hitter I'm talking about that with that board is his path up top was super disconnected. And what's up?
1 second. What's going on? 1 second. Okay, we're back rolling. Thought my car alarm was going off. It is not. Are you good?
Good.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Says on. So.
Yep, we're good to go. We're still rolling here. What were we talking about?
Oh, the kid was disconnected up top.
Yeah, okay.
And so I was trying all kinds of different things, and then a guy drove from the University of Kentucky at the coaching clinic 2 weeks ago, and it was talking about posture where you put a bucket on home plate filled with balls. After a swing, the guy holds his posture, reaches down, and then takes the ball out and throws it to reinforce the posture of being over home plate.
Really?
And it really helped this kid be more connected.
Oh, I like that.
So that was a new one. And then also hitting from his knees.
Really?
If you hit from your knees and your posture sucks, you're not going to hit the ball.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, yeah, posture's huge.
Interesting. Teacher Man talks about tilt. Do you have any thoughts on it?
What are your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts, I'll just ramble here, but I mean, I was always taught, coming up that getting that back shoulder underneath your front was terrible. Like, you're dipping your back shoulder, but you have to dip your back shoulder to get on planes. So, I think you absolutely, in order to create the correct bat path, there has to be tilt with your back shoulder. But it's highly variable on where the pitch is and,
high-level guys might think I'm an idiot, but how different is tilt from posture?
I think of posture as the hinge part of it.
Okay.
Being
working
backward.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're beating me in this because I think of it all as the same. Like the posture throughout the swing is the posture.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't have very good comments for people on tilt for this one.
Okay. Gotcha. As a fielder, we've been all hitting stuff here. Was there anyone that you really admired, their footwork, their handwork, anything like that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Gosh, a fielder that I loved. What's his name? I always loved Andrelton Simmons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Jose Iglesias.
Yeah.
Those two guys, big time.
Those are good ones.
Yep.
During your playing career, did you ever dabble in sports psychology, the mental part of the game? Was that part of your thing?
Yeah, and I wasn't good at it, but at the same time, that's what made me successful, where it was my mentality of I'm better than you at the plate kind of thing. Now, I really struggled in the field to overcome mistakes. But
in terms
yes,
of you would be hard on yourself.
And then I would just be like, man, I got to make this next play, or I can't make an error. Which is a terrible way to think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. I read Heads Up Baseball 2.0. Mm-hmm. I was big in setting goals and stuff like that. Having a routine. Mm-hmm. I was very intentional about that. The way I walk to the plate, all that's intentional. Okay. Walk slowly, make the pitcher wait on me. That kind of stuff.
Were they doing anything at Memphis for you guys, or were you on your own?
We had Brian Kane as our guy my senior year.
Okay.
But other than that, not really. And I honestly, that was also part of my issue my senior year, is I had a pretty good base of things I did without really thinking about it. As far as routines and the way I do things, I almost overthought it whenever I got to be a senior because of what Brian Kane was doing. Not his fault. But I was changing my routine to include a focal point and all this stuff. Well, back to the pine tar thing, your focal point needs to be something that gets you back to now and back to the present.
Present moment, yeah.
So what I would do is I grew up being around pine tar, and I love the smell of it, so it made me love the game.
Yeah.
Well, I would go up to the plate, and I would wipe out the box. I'd get out, take a big, deep breath, and then I would put my nose or my bat up close to my nose, and I could smell the pine tar. And that would kind of calm me down and think, if I'm in a stadium with 10,000 people, it reminded me of this is why I'm playing the game. This is just a game. I love doing this.
Yeah.
I went away from that my senior year because I thought I needed to have a focal point on my bat. I didn't need to change that part. That part of my game was fine.
Yeah.
So that was another learning thing where don't change what you're good at.
Yeah, like that.
Or make it better instead of altering it in a way that hurts you.
That makes sense. You ever play the baseball name game?
Baseball name game.
You want to play with me?
Sure.
I'll tell you the rules?
Yeah, let's hear it.
You don't know? So we used to play this on the bus. We'll play three or four guys. So if I say Roberto Alomar, you have to say a name that starts with an A.
Oh, okay, we played this. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start. Let's say Eric Weaver.
W. Wyatt Langford.
Oh, okay. Lenny Harris.
Oh, shoot. Man, I'm struggling with this.
Hal McRae.
McRae.
Start.
Mike Schmidt.
Stan Royer. I'm going to tell you right now, I've never been beaten at this game.
I used to absolutely dominate.
Well, you're dominating me. I mean, holy cow! I feel like an idiot over here. Why can't I think of Ron Washington? I mean, he played at one point.
Sure, yeah.
Golly, that's bad.
I just always loved that game. I would beg people to play, and they'd be like, "Blake, I don't want to play this damn game."
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
it's impressive.
Is it true if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yes.
I always ask people.
Yes,
it's very true. I know the answer to this, but tell me a little bit about it. Tell me the team that you grew up rooting for and why. Why are you a Twins, Minnesota guy?
Yeah, my dad grew up in the Twin Cities, and that's who he grew up rooting for. Okay. So,
and then
tough life.
How old are you? You're 29.
29.
How old were you? Would you have been when they? What year were you born?
96.
Okay, so you would have been born after their Worlds. Like I grew up.
I've seen all the videos.
You watched all that,
like
those the World Series with the Braves and stuff, and that magical time. Yep. Curry Puckett,
amazing
fan.
Yeah, I love Curry Puckett.
Favorite yards that you've played in?
I'd say East Carolina,
okay,
Arkansas, Mississippi State. I mean, you can go on, but those are some of the best.
Mississippi State, Dewey Noble special.
Oh, the new one is unreal.
I mean, I went to the old one. I played, back in the early 2000s, but that was there's something really special about Mississippi State. It's just like a culture down there, or atmosphere that is hard to describe. What are some of your favorite things to do on the bus trips?
Man, just hang out with the guys. Honestly, I didn't play a whole lot of Mafia.
Right.
Hang out with the guys. Listen to music.
Did you have a most memorable bomb in your career?
Bomb?
Yeah.
I would say the one that was the coolest was the one at Springfield. It was the Sliders. It was the game that we clinched against the Gems, and there were 6,000 people there, and a bunch of people from Pawnee.
Yeah.
And me and one of my teammates went back to back, and I knew it was gone, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever pimped one?
I mean, that was as close as it gets. I just started jogging.
Yeah.
You know me.
I mean, do you have thoughts on pimping a home run now? It's kind of like, in this day and age, celebrations are a big part of the game. And what are you guys thinking about that?
As long as you don't do anything ridiculous, don't make it about yourself.
Yeah.
If you're fired up for your team and yelling at your own dugout, like, heck yeah, man.
You guys are cool at Pawnee doing that?
I am. I mean,
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I'm fine. As long as it's not for the wrong reasons. If you're trying to make it all about yourself, then it's a little bit concerning.
I'm definitely new school with that. I think it's fun to celebrate the game. I lean more toward the kind of Latin, how they look at the game. It's celebration. It's fun. Let's be loud. Let's have fun. As long as you're not being disrespectful to the other person or the other team, for sure.
It's hard. It's a hard game. You got to celebrate it.
Have some fun, yeah. Nastiest stuff you ever faced?
Man. I mean, Hewer was really good. It was like the guy from Wichita State, righty. It was like 94, 96 with a disgusting slider. Mm-hmm. And it was back foot to a lefty, so it was tough. It looked like a fastball. And then McClanahan from USF. Mm-hmm. You know who that is? Mm-hmm. Yep, he was like 94, 98 with a good slider. Mm-hmm. So
what was your number of choice and why?
Didn't really care, to be honest with you.
Didn't care at all?
Yeah, I was always like, I'm going to make this number good.
Oh, I like that. BGs.
As long as they worked, didn't care. I wasn't a batting glove guy growing up.
I could see you being a raw dog guy.
I loved putting dirt on my hands.
Okay.
But we put on so many turf fields in the college that my hands sweat so much I had to have gloves.
Yeah. What were you a Moda stick, pine tar?
Pine tar.
What all did you just pine tar?
Pine tar.
Where would you apply it directly to your grip or on the
just on the what's that part of the bat called?
I guess
pine tar spot.
The neck pine tar spot. Yeah. Would you So for metal bats, would you leave the rubber wrap that kind of came on it, or would you take it off and redo it yourself?
Leave it on.
Leave it on?
Yeah.
Okay. What about metal bat? Or what about wood bats? Would you
tape it? My hands sweat so much, and I needed something to grip onto.
Yep, I feel you. Did you have a bat of choice model that you really loved? What was your favorite bat of all time?
I mean, I love the Stealth in 8th grade.
Oh man, yeah.
The orange Stealth.
Yeah.
Oh,
sicko.
I hated swinging Marucci. That's what we swung at Memphis.
Really?
Yeah. I wish we swung DeMarini.
Why didn't you like those?
Didn't think they have very much pop.
Really?
Other teams were swinging. It almost felt like you were taking a knife to a gunfight a little bit. Our bats just didn't pop very well.
Yeah.
You got Tulane hitting monster bombs with DeMarini. Now they rolled their bats, but
yeah,
Still, Dean Reed's are better than Marucci's.
Did you ever have a wood bat that you liked model wise?
I liked Marucci's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked their wood bats.
Okay.
Didn't like their metal bats.
Glove of choice.
A2000.
Wilson guy?
Yeah.
Always?
I mean, I love Pro Preferred. But
is that what you got right there? Was that your college gamer? I'm looking at his glove right there.
Yeah, actually. So we had a Marucci deal, which their gloves were terrible.
Okay.
So the Wilson you can see is blacked out. I colored it in because we couldn't have a different glove other than Marucci. Yeah, so I taped over the logos to use my glove.
Do you have any thoughts on like the ideal way to break in an infielder glove in terms of like shape or anything like that?
I think just playing catch with it and setting it like this.
I mean, yours looks flat. Like I remember, guys in high school would like smash their fingers and roll it, and like I've heard of guys wanting to be very flat and open like that. Or
so this kind of came like this is the Pedroia model. It's kind of came like this. Okay. But I would say similar to this.
Okay.
Is what I would do. Play catch with it a lot. I like breaking it in naturally instead of like I used to put it underneath my bed with a ball in it.
Right.
But I think create it naturally by playing catch.
Okay.
By putting it the way that you
want.
What
size did you like there?
11 1/4.
11 1/4. Small.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of know some of this, but how did you, just for everyone out there didn't know this, how did you prepare yourself strength and conditioning wise during your career? Do you have any regrets on any things that you did?
Yeah, I just didn't lift enough in high school.
Really?
And I told myself that I was, and I didn't eat enough. And it's one of those things where I tell people now that want to gain weight, write down what you're eating or do it in an app like MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
See what your weight is at the beginning of the week. And if your goal is to gain weight and at the end of the week you go down, well, you're not eating enough. Right. I would always tell myself I was eating a lot. Well, obviously it wasn't eating enough.
Yeah, people always think they're getting enough calories when they're not.
Correct.
A lot of people are like, I can't gain weight. Well,
yeah.
Unless you're like a scientific anomaly,
Exactly.
You can't.
You're not eating enough.
Everyone's got a number.
Like Ben, crushing 10 eggs at breakfast.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Getting 300 grams of protein a day.
That's insane. A little bit much, but
That's
hey.
a lot. I remember heard that. I was like, man, I bet his toilet was hurting.
I heard that working out today. Holy cow, man.
Did you have any superstitions? And secondly, did you have any teammates that had any ones that you thought were funny?
Wasn't a big superstition guy. No.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as teammates, that's bad. I don't have any that come to mind.
Okay. You talked about playing catch, breaking in a glove. Is there any like other ways to condition your glove that you like? Any oils or rubs or brands or anything like that you want to shout?
Nakona glove oil is good.
Dude, it's the best.
Yep.
It's the absolute gold standard.
Yep. Love it.
You're the first person that said that. I get really disappointed in guys when I ask them this and they're like, just some oil or something. I'm like, come on, man, it's your baby. You got to take care of this thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't oiled that one in a minute. It needs to be oiled.
Nakona is the gold standard. Pre-game hitting routine. What would you do in college? Just normal beeps?
Yeah, just normal BP. Hit the ball low. That's really it.
Okay, tell me about feel versus real in hitting. Explain that to me. It's not to me. I know what it is, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it for other people.
I think it's like what you said earlier. We're going to tell you to swing down, which I don't tell many guys to swing down, but if a kid really is struggling, hey, swing down. And then you show him video, and the reality is he's not swinging down. He's swinging up still, but he's more flat, and he has a better chance of being on time to where the ball is if he thinks swing down. That'd be a feel versus real. Or the opposite of the guy keeps hitting a ball on the ground. Okay, hit a fly ball with the pitcher. Well, he's going to think that. He's going to feel that. But in reality, the ball is probably going to go up the middle in a line drive or fly ball because we over-exaggerated something. So it's just reality about how you get to reality.
How you get to reality. Love that. Best and worst baseball movies.
I love The Rookie.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Worst? What's the one with Steve Nebraska in it? It's like The Prospect or something.
Weird one.
Yeah.
That's a obscure choice there.
It's actually so bad that it's good. It's one of those.
You already said Twins. Was there anyone that you looked up to locally growing up? Like you said.
Yeah. I mean, Dusty, big time. I'm trying to think who else locally.
What do you remember about Dusty as a player?
I mean, not a whole lot because I was so young. I mean, he graduated college in 2005.
Right.
So I was 9 years old.
Right.
So I don't have a whole lot of memories. I think guys a lot of Pawnee guys, man. We had some really good teams and guys that could really, really play.
So some of those players, I mean, no one's going to know these guys, but like Steven Underwood was a guy, I could tell you his stats. His senior year, Pawnee hit .545 with 7 jacks. Wow. And that was the MVP of that CS8 All-Area game. So guys like him.
Was there any local guys that you really liked to compete against growing up?
I mean, I loved Nick Maton.
Yeah.
We faced each other in the CS8 game. That was cool. Yeah, I mean, just any of the guys you played summer ball with, when you play them, that was kind of cool.
Any best baseball video game of all time?
The Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play or did you play? Or?
I do. I don't play anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you?
What?
Do you play?
No, I do not have time.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
For that. I would, like, if I had this, like, ample time.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it in the past.
Yeah.
I just don't
have
time now. Walk-up music.
So, after Joe Mauer, went with What You Know by T.I.
Really?
Yep, did that one my junior. That was my best year hitting, so that was that one. Big Post Malone guy. My senior year was probably my favorite walk-up, and it was Sugar Wraith by Post Malone. I got a few comments on that one. Like, Tulane's catcher's like, man, what is this? I need it.
I like it.
So I don't know if he used it the next year. He said he was going to, but who knows?
What was the worst conditioning you ever did in baseball?
Oh, dude, at Memphis we had, which is dumb because you don't need to be conditioned like we were doing for baseball. We ran these things called boxes. And so it would be a box, and based on your conditioning, we did a beep test. Based on your conditioning, you'd be placed in a certain group. And so if you were in better condition, your box would be bigger. And so it would be sprint the long way, and then you'd have to get there in a certain amount of time, and then you would jog across, and then sprint and jog. And it was like you did it for like 10 minutes. It was awful. And we did this in the fall in Memphis, which is always 95 plus, and we did it on the practice football field, which is turf. So imagine, I mean, there were some days where the turf was like 125 degrees. I remember just laying in the showers after that. I mean, it was, yeah, you're just drenched in your own sweat. But yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
And can't say it made us better at baseball.
I know. I think back to some of the conditioning I did in my career. Like, what was the point? I mean, I guess coaches, need to harden you and get you in shape in some ways, but a lot of it was just like, this is not making me a better baseball player in any way, But
like you said, though, the one thing it did do is you got close with your guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, going through hard things together as a team brings you together. Mm-hmm. So, for nothing else, that a couple teammates that could have played pro ball but never did.
I saw that question. I thought, man, I don't know. Oh, two of my best friends at Memphis. I mean, it was our center fielder. I was in his wedding. He was 88, 92 on the mound. He was our closer. Yeah. He just didn't really want to play professionally. He really wanted to move on and have a family. And then my other guy, I don't know if he could have played. He was a great catcher, like great defensively. Not a good hitter, and he would tell you that. But great leader. Yeah. So just a guy that, I mean, if he went to Tennessee, they're taking a chance on him.
Who was it?
Jason Santana.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the hardest year for you in baseball?
My senior year.
Senior year.
It's miserable.
What was so hard about it? Was it just that you weren't performing and you knew it wasn't going to end how you wanted it to? Or
yeah, that's a good way to put it. I knew that was going to be it because of how poorly I was playing. Yeah. And it was almost like I was trapped in the fact that I was going to be done playing. That makes no sense. But
I totally get that.
But it's like, man, this is it.
Right.
And so I just remember frustrated. They knew me as the guy who shows like no emotion.
Yeah.
And I remember myself getting frustrated more than ever that year. And like I went in in our cage area behind our dugout and like yelled it a few times. And it's like, who was that? Like, that's not me.
You're right.
Yeah. And a funny story to tell you who I was is I got rung up on a pitch that was inside a lot. And I knew everyone knows I know the zone. And so I was pissed and I never talked to the umpire. Yeah. Well, I told him, I was like, come on, like I know the zone better than you. And so I go back to the dugout and my teammates were dying because I was like, man, I told him whatever. And they're like, that's what you told him? They're like, that's you're pissed off. So yeah, they're making fun of me on that one because that's really the extent to what I got angry. But
I totally get that too, man. I had a senior year too that was very forgettable, and I had these aspirations of pro ball too. And it was weird to be like, okay, I still have the season to play. I mean, you can know halfway, a quarter through your year, like this is not the year that's going to get me drafted, or I'm not headed this way, but you still have to, show up.
Yep.
And be a good teammate. Yep. Try to be not a cancer or try to not let your gloom,
Yeah, I don't think people knew that. I was struggling that much. So that was good.
Like you hit it pretty well.
Yes. Yeah, and I ended up having a solid year if you looked at my year, but not what I wanted, obviously.
You wanted to have.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
What was the most fun for you in baseball?
I mean, dude, high school, seriously. Yeah. And this sounds like a close the yearbook, man, but just because we won, man. Not at all. We won. We went to the yard every day and knew we were going to go beat you. And if they beat us, then so what? We'll beat them next time.
What was your least favorite place to play? Do you have
Yes. Looked at this question last night. Okay. Arkansas State. Hate that place. They called it Sleepy Hollow. It's in the middle of nowhere. No one shows up to the game. Right. It feels like you have to hit about 900 feet to get anywhere close to the fence. And they always play with like no. It's just like a drowsy game that you'd never want to play. And then after we always had this guy cater for us where the food was super bland. Overall terrible experience.
What are your thoughts on building arm strength, long toss, stuff like that?
I think band routine, plyo routine, just for arm path, arm health, and then play long toss. Yeah. And then once your arm's in shape, so I'd play long toss with a lot of arc underneath it for 4 weeks or so, and then you can start mixing in some pull downs on some days. Based on how you feel. If you don't feel good, then don't pull down that day.
What's that? What are you most proud of from your career?
My favorite quote was my Memphis hitting coach, and he told me that I got the most out of my ability of anyone that he's ever seen. Oh man! So that was really cool.
That's incredible.
Because I would always be last on our bat speed testing. Yeah. And the new guys would be like, "This guy, what?" And he would be like, "No, trust me, he can hit."
Yeah.
So that was, I would say, just getting the most out of my ability, even though, like you said, it didn't end the way that I wanted it to.
Do you think, and baseball is a game of needs so many things to go right. It's a lot of luck, a lot of talent, but a lot of things to go right. Could you have seen your career going in different, just a few more breaks, going in different directions in some ways?
I mean, I always joke with my mom, if I was 6'3", then yes, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think even if I had a really good senior year, am I getting picked up? Probably not.
Yeah. So, bananas, what you got?
I wouldn't want to play there. I want to play baseball, man. Yeah. I just want to play the game that I like and not worry about having to learn a dance routine and all this stuff.
That's every guess. Yeah. If they shit on it, then I'll shit on it with them. But if they say positive, I'm like, oh, cool. But I do not like it.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, they're selling tickets, man. People love it. But I would never go to watch it.
No. Any jump traditions in baseball?
There are, but let me try to think here. Here's one. People getting so mad about swinging 3-0 in a blowout. Bro, then don't be losing by that much. It's a 3-0 swing. What's the difference if they hit a 3-0 home run versus a 3-1 home run? That one fires me up.
Do you feel like you can pick out a baseball player in a like if they're just cool dressed normally, you'd be like that dude played high level baseball.
Can you?
I think so. I can pick out athletes. I'm very good at that. Just by how they stand.
I would say how they carry themselves.
Maybe not baseball, but I could always pick out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's body language. How do they, like you said, how do they carry themselves?
All right. I already asked you this, but the pivot home runs, you said depends, kind of, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that as long as it's not disrespectful and over the top.
Do you ever have any baseball briefs?
About the game? Yeah. Now more so they're about getting my players to experience the success and the moment of what it will be like when we get to where we want to go.
And what is that?
Peoria.
I think you got something special.
Yes.
So we talked about.
Yeah, people will see in a few years.
They're going to see?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I love that. I can see it. Look at the suit's eyes, man. That is cool. All right. And in what ways did baseball shape you as a person? Are there any core connections, dealing with failure, things like that?
Yeah, I think it's taught me a lot because this is a little deeper, but
it's good deep.
It's a good sport, and the reason why I was pretty good at it was I was able to bottle emotions up, and I was very even keel. The problem is when you get into the real world, it's not a good characteristic because, like I said, I bottled up the emotions of being done playing for 2 years or more, and so I've learned through work on myself of just being genuine. You can still carry yourself well and be genuine. And I think that's the biggest thing, where baseball taught me that it matters how you carry yourself, but you also need to know when to be vulnerable and be genuine with people.
Like that.
So.
Okay. We got to let Paul come in. Last question here then. So you talked about dealing with, it took you a couple of years, so you kind of like dealt with your baseball mortality, right?
Yeah.
How did you come to a conclusion with that? And do you feel at peace with how your career ended?
Yeah, now I do. How did I come to terms with it? That's a good one. I would say. I mean, here's a question that was posed to me by someone who helped me a lot. Is when I went through a hard thing personally, and then I had baseball done. So that was like 97% of my life is gone. And so the whole thing is, well, what's going to take up this void? And his thing was, well, why was there a void in the first place? And so at times I played baseball for the wrong reasons of the external praise.
Oh, there we go.
Instead of playing it for the love of it, and that got me in trouble, because then
everyone's got a mix of that.
Yeah, and then in real life, now everything that you do is for someone's approval. It can be in relationships. I mean, there was a long time where I went like, I don't know, several years where I never was single, and that's a part of it is, I felt like I needed someone else's approval. Yeah. And I think that just transfers into life, and yeah, that's kind of how. I don't know what I'm talking about now. We just got off track. What was the question that you asked me?
It was how did you come to terms kind of with your career being over with?
Oh, the void. Yeah, the void. So basically, yeah, why are you trying to fill it with baseball? Yeah. And so it's really led me to look within myself and figure out, okay, why did I get this feeling from baseball, and how is that showing up in other parts of life? And so, I mean, the amount of growth that I've shown in my life in the last 4 or 5 years, especially the last 3 or 4, is really, really crazy when you look back at what I was versus what I am now. And obviously you always want to keep growing. There's ways I could be better. But yeah, I mean, baseball has been a massive part of that. It's showed me what to do, what not to do, all that stuff.
Do you still identify as a baseball player? Do you feel like you still are in ways?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard for me when today, my brother Connor and I were hitting, and sometimes I don't do it often, but sometimes I hop in there if someone's waiting to hit. I'll hop in there if they're doing a drill or whatever to get ready, and I take a few swings, and I miss it a lot, and this would be fun. But I say I identify more as a teacher of players now, of helping them understand what it takes to be great at something, whether it's baseball, whether it's being a doctor, whatever it is. The book I love, I've read it 3 times now, is It Takes What It Takes. And just because you do everything right doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but it gives you the best shot. Yeah. Behave like a winner so you can have the best chance to win, So I think it translates, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. I think a lot of parents they don't want you to be hard on your kid because it's not fair. Well, would you rather them experience some failure and it be hard for them in high school, or would you rather they have when they're 23, when they're in the real world, when they don't know how to make money, and they shut down when something doesn't go their way? That's the point of this. It's not the wins and losses, which they will come. Yeah. If you do these things well, they will come. Yeah. But be a good person.
I love that. So how would you characterize your coaching style? Do you really try to get to know these guys like a personal level? You feel like that is the best way to connect with them, or? Yeah,
I really try to build relationships with them.
You've shared some stuff with me too. You're going to so far above and beyond what a high school coach could do in terms of how you're thinking about these guys, how you're trying to motivate them, how you want to get to the core of who they are and just make them better, not only as baseball players, as people. I think it's so commendable. It's really cool to see you doing stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, just getting to know them, man, and figure out what makes them tick. Some kids you can really get on, and you can yell at them. I'm not a yeller, but
you tailor that to each.
Yeah, you can yell at them in front of the team. Some kids you might have to pull aside and say, hey, we're not going to accept it. You get it called out in front of the team. We're not doing this. We're not accepting this. But then pull them aside. Hey, dude, what's going on? Yeah. Because usually there's a reason why they're acting that way. Yeah. Whether it was a girlfriend that broke up with them, a test didn't go well. What's going on? Right. And I think being vulnerable with players where tell them when you're not having a good day. Yeah. But don't walk in, man, I'm so tired. Be like, man, I'm going to have to get after it today. Yeah. And then they'll be, oh, long day. Yeah, but I'm ready to get after it. You won't be able to tell. And then they know, oh, okay, like he goes through this too. It's not just me.
Love that.
All right. So
question. We're at the very end. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been cool.
Just not only hearing how you see life and your career, but all the hitting stuff's been incredible too. And I love that you're back in the game, dude. You're supposed to be where you're at right now. I can see it. There's a light in your aura, your energy. You're right where you're supposed to be. I love it that you're back with your game. Anything you want to leave us with, or do you have any more you want to thank or anything like that, or you got anything? Like you let it all out?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that is on my mind is my grandma actually passed away last night, and thank you. But she is now in a better place with my grandpa, so that's on my mind, and she is a great woman, lived her life the right way, and try to be like her.
Some peace. I got one more question then, and I'll let you go. What does the future hold for Cale now and then? Could you ever see yourself, because I see you as this, you're a high-level hitting coach too. Like, could you ever see yourself leaving and pursuing that on a professional level at your own facility, or do you like the path that you're on right now where you're on?
I think I love where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be great. I'm going to focus on being great where I am. And then if that opportunity presents itself a few years from now or a year, whenever it is, I plan on being here for a while. And then if something presents itself and that's what I think's best for me, then I'll go there. But I heard one of my buddies brought this up, one of my former teammates at Memphis. You know, everyone always asks you in a job interview, what's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself? And the boss heard him answer. And then he said, well, I don't usually ask that because your life could change in 5 years. You could have different goals. So just do what you're doing now. Obviously, you need to have some sort of plan, but be really good in the next year and then go from there. Well, that's kind of where I am. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. As you can see, I enjoy it and it's cool. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, it is cool. Well, we're all out of questions here, and this has been amazing catching up with my brother here, and just I really appreciate your time. I hope some dads out there are listening. I hope some players are listening. That was deep down the rabbit hole of hitting there. I know we probably could have even done more. So anyway, thanks for thinking back on your career and what went right, what went wrong. I hope you guys could pick some stuff up. And post-game spread, we appreciate you. We're out of here. Cool.
Thank you very much,
buddy. We're out. Hey, we appreciate you. We're out of here.